We are live. It is the end of the year, and I am so fascinated and also kind of like amazed that we are here so fast. It seems like at the end of the summer, things just kind of flew by, and we are here at the end of 2022. What's going on, everyone? Elliot here from MovieFiles, and this is a best of. This is a best of the year stream today, talking about the best movies we've seen, best shows we've seen, and everything in between. Favorite news article that came out this year for movies and shows, casting announcement, director announcements, DC changing everything, favorite trailers. I mean, literally the best of that you all want to discuss today. We're going to have that discussion and have a good time doing so. But man, 2022, what a year, man. What a year for film and TV. What a year for the channel. And again, we're going to open up this 2023, I should say, with a lot of big things, a lot of cool things going on. But what's up to everyone in the chat? Joining me on this Saturday, we got Meg. What's going on, Meg? I'm loving the IG. I'm traveling through you. Meg's been doing a lot of traveling lately, and it's been awesome to see that. So what's up to Meg? Hopefully we can get some of your favorite movies and shows when we get to that point in the stream. Angel, happy new year. Happy new year to you, and happy new year again to everyone. Man, 2023 is right around the corner. Some crazy things. But listen, man, before we get into today's topics and discussions and all that fun stuff, do your boy a favor, hit that thumbs up. Helps out the algorithm, and share this video. You know, anyone that you know that loves talking movies and shows as much as we do, go ahead and share it on all your different social media platforms and all that fun stuff. But listen, before we get into Zia, what's going on? Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you stopping through, showing some love, and man, I can't believe Happy New Year. It's blowing my mind, y'all. It's blowing my mind. But Happy New Year to you all. But listen, before we get into today's kind of breakdown of all the highlighting the movies and shows and all that of the year, I figured we kind of start the stream off highlighting the month in its entirety, as far as the new movies I saw for the month of December. And there were, and also some shows. I think there was about 23 new movies and shows that I saw for this month. And I figured we do what we did last month, which was a tier list. And I'm going to kind of rank my favorite movies and shows that I saw for the last month. So we'll kind of start that off the stream before we get into the main topic, which is, again, highlighting all the new releases that we got this year. Urban, I checked out RR. Thanks to you. Loved it. We'll be talking about that later, Urban, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I'm going to be going down this rabbit hole probably the beginning, or maybe the second or third week of the beginning of the month. I'm gonna look into SS Rajamouli, who's the director of RR. I'm gonna watch his other films that are available on Netflix and on Amazon. So yeah, RRR. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. But I'm glad you liked it. I love that movie. Oliver, Happy New Year, my dude. Quickly became one of my most visited. Oh, that's awesome, Oliver. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, man. I'm glad you're loving the content, and I appreciate the support. Shout out to Oliver. My man Kenny in the building. Blessed to have I'm blessed to have you, Kenny, man. It was awesome to have you on what stream was that? It was on one of the Marvel shows. It was either, was it She-Hulk? Let me know, Kenny. Was it She-Hulk that you joined me and we had a discussion talking about Marvel? Or it was Miss Marvel. It was one of those. I think it was She-Hulk. But shout out to Kenny, man. One of my favorites that supports the channel. And we love talking comic book stuff. So shout out to Kenny. And shout out to everyone, the single one of y'all that's joining me today. So again, like I said, we're gonna get, it was She-Hulk. I thought it was She-Hulk. Yeah, man, that was that might not make the best list for me, Kenny. Again, we're staying positive in today's stream. We're highlighting all the best stuff, and we can talk maybe about some of the stuff that was maybe a little bit disappointing or maybe didn't live up to the expectations. But shout out to Kenny, man. But yeah, like I said, guys, we are going to kick this stream off talking about the best and worst movies I saw for the month of December, ranking them from top to bottom. And again, this is a live stream, so go ahead and throw your favorite movies and shows that you saw in the month of December. What shows or movies you didn't enjoy in the month of December, and we're gonna kick things off in that way. And let's, before we pivot over to that, my man Oliver, always so hyped for 2023. So much Oliver, so much to catch up on. I'm actually in the middle of watching a couple more movies before I wrap up the year, but yeah, it's a lot of stuff to get into in this new year. And we'll I have a video coming out tomorrow actually for that, for most anticipated movies, most anticipated shows. So keep an eye out for that dropping tomorrow. And then later in the week, I'll be sharing my anticipated shows, I should say. Tomorrow's the movie. So, all right, we're going to be sharing the screen here. Let me know if you all can see that in the chat. Let me move this banner, or maybe make me a little bit bigger here. There we go. So again, I'm gonna make this little clip out and probably put it out next week. But shout out to everyone joining me on today's live stream. We are now pivoting over to highlighting some of the new releases that I saw for the month of December, and there were over 23 new movies and shows that I saw for the month of December, and I will be ranking them from the best of the best to maybe not the best, right? The worst. So we will be breaking that down here for you all. So if you can, if you're watching this on the live, I appreciate you. And if you're watching this on the replay, do your boy a favor, hit that thumbs up, share, and more importantly, share what new movies, what new shows that you see for the month of December. And let me know how you would rank them from worst to best. So with that being said, let's kick off my list here. And let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. So as you all can see, we got all these crazy ads. I should have turned on my ad blocker, but we'll try to avoid those. We'll zoom in a little bit here. We'll try to, there we go. We'll zoom in and make it a little bit more cleaner. There we go. There we go. So as you all can see below, 23 new movies, 23 new shows. Some of them came out earlier in the year. Some of them were fairly new for the new month. And some of them are not even out yet that I got to see in this month of December. So starting things off with, we have Senior, which was on Netflix, guys. This was a Netflix movie or documentary, I should say, brought to us by Robert Downey Jr. himself, which you all might know him for various different projects. One in particular in the last decade was obviously Iron Man. And I didn't know Robert came from a family full of filmmakers. And, you know, they talked about in this doc, him highlighting his father, going over his career, Robert Downey Sr., who was, I didn't know he was a director himself. And he directed some pretty cool, like experimental films that I haven't seen that I'm going to probably look up after watching this doc. But this was nice, man. This was a nice, sweet, sincere documentary highlighting Robert Downey Jr., his father, Senior, and his films that he made and how influential he was to that decades that he was making movies, which was in the 60s and 70s, and it kind of goes over their relationship between the father and son. And for those that are Robert Downey Jr. fans, it doesn't really highlight his life that much because it's obviously highlighting his father. But I thought it was a nice, sincere, sweet doc highlighting his father's accomplishments and their relationship. And I don't want to give too much away because it is based on, you know, true life. But it was sad, man, how things ended on an emotional level, but it was also a celebration of Robert Downey Sr.'s life. So I'm gonna put Senior at a B, man. It was a pretty good, 90-minute doc. It was easy to watch. It was easy to follow, and a lot of good footage. Again, dating back to the 60s and 70s for his films that he made. And again, man, I'm gonna definitely explore his filmography because he seemed to be a very, like I said, a very experimental director. So that's going to go at a B for me. So definitely shout out to that. And that's available on Netflix. But let's see what we got here. So the next one is She Said. And this one here, I'm going to put this at a B. She Said is a very interesting film. If you all do not know, this is kind of the movie highlighting, I believe it was the New York Times. It was two reporters that really change this generation in regards to the whole kind of Me Too movement. And it kind of follows these two reporters trying to, obviously bring to light the sexual assault allegations and obviously things that were found to be guilty from the Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. And it was a good movie, man. It was some things that I really, it felt like a doc actually to me, the way it was kind of shot. But performances by our two leads were great. Judy Greer, who, well, I don't want to give too much away for those that haven't seen it, but there is an actress that is in the film that was a huge part of the movement, the Me Too movement. And shout out to her, man, for being a part of the actual film, because I know that had to be tough to kind of relive those moments. But again, the film, it took a while for me to kind of get into it because it felt like I was watching a doc. The way it was shot, it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like more of like a documentary. But overall, man, great performances and some powerful stuff going on. Some really great moments between the actors, and again, just seeing that the whole movement being shaken out, how it got started, and just the hypocrisy within Hollywood and how people cover stuff up. It was a pretty good watch. So She Said, which is, I believe, being nominated for a couple different Oscars when it comes to that time of the year, from performance-wise, things of that nature. So I'm going to give that a B for me. But moving on to a TV show that I was actually looking forward to, and that is Kendrick, which, if you all do not know, is based on a novel that came out in the 70s, which I've heard nothing but fantastic things about. And I was looking forward to this series, y'all. And unfortunately for me, it did not stick the landing for most of the series. I'm gonna go ahead and just show y'all where I'm putting it, man. This was a D for me, y'all. I don't know why the C's and D's are backwards, but this was a D for me. Can I switch that out here? Can I do that? There we go. Yeah, this is a D, man. This was a show that had a lot of promise. The whole premise of the show is the lead that you all can see on the poster there. Dana is someone who's in her mid 20s. She's moving out on her own in LA and trying to become a writer in Hollywood. And her first couple of nights are a little bit awkward, a little bit weird. She has the ability to time travel to the late, what was it, 1800s, during the slave period. So while you're watching a series, you're thinking to yourself, how is she able to time travel? What is going on here? And when she moves to LA, she comes across this gentleman by the name of Kevin, and he gets tied into the mix. And listen, man, it's a cool idea. Smart premise. Again, I know it's based on a novel, and everyone I know that read the novel says fantastic, and it's a revolutionary type of book in regards to it was a black Arthur. What's her name? Octavia E. Butler, I think her name was. Which again, during the 70s, a black woman writing sci-fi is unheard of. So definitely comes from a rich source material. But man, this show was just dull and boring. And if I'm being honest, the acting, besides Dana and her mom and her auntie, a lot of the actors in me were just terrible. And particularly Kevin, the one of the lead guys, who I just thought was on a personal level, his voice, this might sound stupid, but his voice was just so irritating to me. Every time he opened his mouth, I just wanted to turn the TV off. But I thought his acting was terrible. When we go back to the times of the slavery, the whole family that we're following, they gave them more like backstory and gave them more story than the main characters, which was baffling to me. So listen, man, I did a short on it, like a short review. And I saw some people in the comments, they really enjoyed it. And I'm glad they enjoyed it, but I certainly didn't. That's why Kendrick is getting the D for me. And the way things end is so crazy because it opens it up to a season 2, which I would not be watching at all because I just wasn't a fan of it. But the thing that really kind of irritated me about this show was, and I'm not going to spoil it, but the whole thing that kept me interested in this show was like finding out why she's able to time travel, and they don't even answer that question. So not a fan of that show, but shout out to those that enjoyed it. I did not enjoy it. But moving on to our next movie here, another documentary. I tried to see as many docs as possible for this year's voting season, and I caught some good ones. And the next one here, I'm going to go ahead and put this up as an A for me. This is a documentary by the name of Bad Acts, which is pretty much a story following an Asian American family in this really small town. The name of the town is called Bad Acts, and I think it might have been in the Midwest, if I'm not mistaken. But neither here nor there. This Asian American family has been there. They their family, they raise their kids there, and they have this restaurant there, and we're following this family during the real time of it's like 6 months before in 2019, the back half of 2019, and then we follow them into 2020. So as you would imagine, obviously the pandemic, racial injustices, and they showcase the George Floyd situation, and we're seeing how this tight community who was supporting these Asian American family. And once they kind of share their political opinions about certain things, we see the town start to kind of change their tone and start to not support this restaurant. So it was a really good watch, man. I really, by the end of it, enjoyed the family dynamic, enjoyed the just the whole idea of like where you come from doesn't mean where you come from doesn't necessarily shape you as a person, and it just shows you people's true colors when it in this political times that we live in, how people can just switch on you and turn on you in a heartbeat. It was just kind of crazy to see. But I really enjoyed this doc, man. I don't know where it's available to stream. I was able to get it as a part of the screenings for your consideration. So I would imagine it's on Amazon at least, or you can rent it on Apple TV or whatever streaming device you have. But I really recommend it, man. It was an hour and 30 minutes, I want to say. It was powerful, man. It was emotional once you get to certain elements of it. And it was also very inspiring. So one of my favorites, again, I don't watch too many docs, but this was definitely high on the list for me, Bad Acts, which I highly recommend you all give a watch. Moving on to our next film here, which is a Netflix original, and I think it actually came out yesterday, and that is the new Noah Baumbach, White Noise, starring Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, and Don Cheadle, and a lot of other surprise actors that popped up in the film. This one for me, man, I'm just going to go ahead and just put this where I thought it landed for me, which was a C. This was an interesting film, y'all. This is I like Noah Baumbach. A lot of you all might know him for, a lot of different projects, but most recently he did Marriage Story in 2019, which I thought was a great film. But this is kind of following this weird family. Adam Driver is a professor. Greta Gerwig is just like a stay-at-home mom, and they have like he has his kids, she has her kids, and they come together kind of like a Brady Bunch situation. But nonetheless, there's this chemical spill that takes place, and it kind of sets this chain of events for this family to kind of survive this kind of apocalyptic type of situation, which is only the first 20 minutes of the film. The rest of the film becomes like this domestic relationship between a husband and wife and some potential affairs. But I gotta say, it was a weird viewing for me. I know some people love it. I'm not one of those people. I appreciate the acting. It felt like a screen, it felt like I was watching a play by the way they were talking. They were not like normal conversations. It was very just kind of, and it's based on a novel. So I know Noah Baumbach was adapting something, but I don't know. This didn't really fit this wasn't my cup of tea. I did like the film as it went on, as we were diving a little bit deeper into the relationships of the two leads. And it was a really fascinating situation by the end of the film, but I wasn't the fan of most of the film. But again, I praise the performances and kind of it's a little bit of a horror tinge in it, especially when the chemical spill happens. But wasn't my cup of tea, y'all. Let me know if you all have seen White Noise, if you've heard of it, if you watched it on Netflix recently, and share your thoughts on the film in the comments below. And speaking of comments, we're live now. I'm gonna get to those comments once we wrap up. But let me finish this list, and I'm gonna head back over to the comment section, see what you all are talking about. So, another film that I just recently saw, which comes out in a couple weeks, which is A Man Called Otto, starring the one and only Tom Hanks. Now, this film doesn't come out. I believe it had a limited release last week, but it's going to have a wide release on the 13th of next month. So saw it last night, man. I'm going to do a short review to give you all my full thoughts. But right now, it's a C for me. Definitely applaud Tom Hanks' performance and his relationship with his neighbor that I really enjoyed. It's a really sweet story about a man who unfortunately lost his wife, who really shaped his life in a positive way. He was a individual that saw life in black and white, but she added a lot of color to his life. But unfortunately, when she passed, he kind of becomes this kind of old, bitter, angry old man. But he comes across this new neighbor and he kind of opens his heart up. And it's just a really sweet story, man. My negatives, which I'll explain in my review when I put that out probably next week, is more so the flashback sequences didn't work for me. And it's a little hallmarky as far as the way the film's kind of presented, especially in the second half. It becomes just a little bit too on the nose for me. But nonetheless, man, this is a sweet film with a lot of heart to it. But like I said, I'm going to get a little review set out for you guys coming up next week. But that was my thoughts on A Man Called Otto, coming out in just a few weeks. So what's next on our list here? Oh, this is a good one, y'all. This was one of my favorite animated films this year, which went by the name of Apollo 10 and a half was the name of it, man. Let me go ahead and just put this where it belongs, man, which is in the A tier for me, y'all. This was such a good movie, man. This is pretty much a film. It's animated, like I mentioned, and it follows this 10-year-old boy who was in 1969. He lives in Houston. For those that are familiar with the space race between America and Russia and all the different countries trying to land on the moon first, it shows us this 10-year-old kid who gets recruited to go to the moon before Neil Armstrong and Apollo mission went down. And it's just such a great film, y'all. Like, it's, first off, the animation is gorgeous, but it's a nostalgia trip, man. First off, it takes place in the 60s, which I wasn't born in the 60s, but it just kind of showed that time of life where things were just simpler. Kids can go outside and play, get home before the lights come on in the streets. It was just a really cool throwback journey to not only to the moon, but a coming of age story, and just so much goodness going on with this film, man. This is on Netflix, by the way, guys. It came out earlier this year, I believe in April. And I didn't get a chance to see it during April, hence why I saw it in the month of December. But definitely recommend you all give this a watch, man. This was hilarious, has some really surprising good, like, emotional heartbeat to it as well, and just a beautiful animated film that I highly, highly, highly recommend for you all to check out. And some really great voice casting as well. So really recommend that, and that's why Apollo 10, A Space Age Childhood, is an A tier for me, man. Really, really enjoyed that. All right, moving on to my next one here. We're gonna kind of run through these next before we can get to the big topics, which is the new movies of the this past year. Funny Pages is the next on my list, and I'm gonna put this in the detail, man. This is an A24 film that I saw literally last night. I literally watched it last night, and I got the A24 screeners, and this was one that I wanted to watch from the end of the year. And it's a film about a teenage cartoonist who is it's a coming of age story, so it kind of is self-explanatory. This kid who's trying to get into the or tries to get into the comic book industry in a sense. He's trying to build his portfolio, meet different artists, get some inspiration. And I get the sentiment of the film, but I'll be honest with y'all, it just wasn't my cup of tea. It's a satire comedy, coming of age drama, and it just very similar to Funny Pages. If you all ever read Funny Pages in newspapers or whatnot, some of that comedy just doesn't work for me. It starts off really weird between our main character and his uncle. I thought that opening scene was very awkward. And there's this weird relationships between this 13, 14-year-old kids and other grown men. And I don't know, man, it was just weird to me. It had some moments that I enjoyed. It was funny at times, but overall, it just wasn't for me, man. So Funny Pages is the name of the film, and it's A24. Came out early this year. I'm pretty sure it's available to watch on streaming platforms or rent. I wouldn't recommend it. That's why it's a detail to me. But shout out to those that enjoyed it. But it just was not my cup of tea, to say the least. So moving on to the next one here, which is a film that I heard a lot of great things about, and I finally got a chance to check it out. And that is The Menu, y'all. And I'm gonna put The Menu at a B for me. It didn't hit as high on my list as far as honorable mentions of this year or top tens, but I can appreciate what it was going for. Really great direction from one of the directors that works on one of my favorite shows with Succession. Really interesting satire about the food industry and servicing people, and just kind of this relationship between people that are servers and people that get served. And I appreciate all those sentiments and the metaphors and the symbolism of all that stuff. And some really great performances. Anna Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes were great. Nicholas Hoult, the whole cast was fantastic. But to me, it just played better as a satire comedy than it did like it falls under the horror genre, which I can see why it falls under that, because it does get a little bit more the situation that's at hand. You have this group of people going to the secluded island to experience this wine and dine restaurant, this high-end restaurant, and just imagine the people that are serving you are trying to trap you there, and you can only imagine what happens from there. So I can understand the horror elements, but it just didn't really play out that way for me. But overall, there's more pros than cons, but it just it didn't blow me away like it did for some people. Like I know some people, this is like their favorite film of the year, which like I said, I can see that, but it just wasn't that high on my list. But The Menu will be available for those that missed out on seeing it in theaters. I think it's coming to HBO Max next month. So check it out, man. And when you do, let me know what you all thought of The Menu. You can check out I did a short review on it here on my YouTube channel. But moving on to the next one, man. This is another one that I saw last night, and this is really high on my list, and that's Triangle of Sadness, y'all. Man, this film is something else. It's a long movie. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it like at 2:30 in the morning. I finished it like at 2:30 last night. It's about an hour and it's 147 minutes, which is what, almost 2.5 hours. But it is a trip, man. This is pretty much a story of this group of rich people going on this luxury yacht. And there's different, people on the boat, from influencers, models, billionaires, people that have their own company. And let's just say this this trip is not as smooth sailing as you would hope it to be with this kind of high end vacation type of experience cruise. This is a great film, man. It's some great performances. I can't think of the actress name, but the lead actress who plays Yaya recently passed away in August, man, and she was great in the film. The main guy that we follow in the film was fantastic, and it's a really interesting, another kind of film almost similar to The Menu, where it shows you kind of the different class levels and how people treat people, and how you got to, the customer's not always right. And man, this film has this really wild kind of switch in tone halfway through the film, where it was pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie, where some things really get wonky and wild. But I loved the third act of the film, which kind of goes to a whole nother level of the film, where things kind of shape out. And there's a character by the name of Abigail. Man, she stole the movie for me, man. She literally is a character that literally pops up in the third act and just steals the whole movie. But I highly recommend this film, man. Triangle of Sadness. Again, another one that came out earlier this year that I got a chance to see from Neon, and I really recommend you all give this a watch, man. I'm gonna do like a short review on it and put it out sometime next week. But definitely recommend this film if you all want to see something pretty crazy and pretty wild. Again, make sure you have time to watch because it gets a long 2.5 hour watch, but I highly recommend it. That is Triangle of Sadness, y'all. Whew, what an interesting film. But what's next on our list? Let's see. Babylon. Y'all know how I feel about Babylon, man. This was one of my favorite films this year. It made my top 10s list, so you can check out my reviews on that. But it's an awesome film. It's not getting a lot of good reviews, and it didn't do that well at the box office, but I loved it. What's next here? We got EO, which I was saw it a couple weeks ago. Really good film. How do I describe EO? It's a film about a donkey who gets lost and goes on this kind of crazy, trippy ride and comes across people that are suffering through different life experiences, pain, and tragedies and different stuff of that nature. It's a very philosophical, metaphorically presented film with a lot of different undertones. But I think the thing that stood out to me with EO was it's one of the best looking films I've seen all year. Very gorgeous to look at, very trippy, like I said, very trippy film. But that was a B tier for me. Let's see what else do we have here. RRR. Need I say more? S Class, one of the best movies I've seen this year. Again, you can check out my top 10 list to see where it landed. But man, Ram and Beam, that friendship, frenemies, great love story, the most crazy, over the top action film I've seen since I don't know, The Raid or something, man. I love the action, but I love the heart that the film has, and just the culture, the dance sequences, the shoulder, my man Ram on Beam's shoulder in that third act is just the most action-packed scene of the year. I love this movie. I love it so much. RRR is an S tier for me, y'all. And again, you can check out my review on RRR. And like I said, I will be going on a deep dive with SS Rajamouli, the director of this film. I'm going to watch any film that I can find online. I'm going to give it a watch come next year because I'm just a huge fan. And also, if y'all don't know, there will be a sequel to RRR. Can't wait for that. Moving on to another film here. This is the Banshees of Inisherin, man. This is the Colin Farrell film that's getting him a lot of buzz for Best Leading Actor. Mary Condon, and just an incredible cast, man. This film was really good. I know it's a slow burn, which I can go for a slow burn every now and then. But this is a film about two friends that one of the friends no longer wants to be friends anymore. And we're watching this story, this relationship kind of break down while there's a war going on. And man, when I tell y'all, between these two performances and direction and the messaging of this film was one of my favorites, man. It made my honorable mentions. I didn't make my top 10 quite, but I still respect it and really enjoyed it. And it's available on HBO Max for those that maybe want to give it a shot. Again, it's not for everyone because it is a slow burn and there's some pretty crazy stuff that happens in the film. But it's something that I really enjoyed. The Banshees of Inisherin, like I said, is available on HBO Max, and definitely shout out to Jenny, the donkey, another donkey. The year of the donkey this year, man. But shout out to Jenny, man. Really good film. All right, what do we have next? Decision to Leave, one of my favorites this year as well. Made my top 10 actually. This was a really good film. A love story, romance mixed in with a little bit of thriller situation going on. We basically have a detective who is looking into the murder of a man who dies on a mountaintop, and he investigates. As they say, when someone dies and they're married or they have a relationship, the first person you interrogate is their spouse, which our detective in this film does. And let's just say he befriends this spouse and something becomes of that relationship. So this is brought to us by Park Chan-wook, who's directed some incredible films in his filmography. Old Boy, Handmaiden. I'm trying to think of some other films that he did that I saw of his. There's a couple other ones that he's did. He's a fantastic director, and this is another fantastic film under his resume. I'm not sure where you can see this film. Again, this is one of my screeners that I got for your consideration. But if you are able to rent it or to stream it throughout various streaming services. I highly recommend this film, man. This was a great psychological thriller romance that just has so many different tones that it plays with. It's a comedy at one point. It's like I said, it's a romance at one point. It's a thriller. It's a suspenseful film. It has everything, man. And it's one of my favorites of this year. And that is Decision to Leave. Definitely recommend you all give it a watch. Next, we have Teal. Listen, it's self-explanatory. If you all know about Emmett Till, one of the most tragic stories you'll ever hear. It started the whole civil rights movement. It's so monumental to to history in general. And the film definitely highlights that what went down in the 1950s. But man, the performance that we have here by our lead actresses, and you all definitely can expect to see her name. I can't think of her name right now, but it's definitely expect to see her name when it comes to Oscar season, because she gave such Daniela, I think it's Daniela Deadweiler, if I'm not mistaken, but she was so great in this film, man. Like I felt every single emotion. I felt every single thing that she gave us in this performance. And I hope, and I'm pretty confident that she's going to get a nomination, but what a great performance and a really good movie. It had some points that I felt like it was a little slow in the pacing, and some of the developments of certain elements weren't as fleshed out as I would have liked it had been. But overall, man, great performances across the board, especially from our lead actor and also the young man that played Emmett Till. He wasn't in it a lot, but when he was in a film, you felt his presence. So it's not an easy watch, as you would imagine. They definitely don't shy away from showing all the brutal moments, and literally a moment of when the casket was open casket. It was hard to watch, man, but it's a really good film, man, and it's that's why Teal was a B tier for me. What do we have next? Avatar. Go ahead and put that in A tier. Got a full review. Did a spoiler review with my homie Griffin from Film Speak, so you all can check that out to know why it's an A class. But I'm a big fan of Avatar. Made one of my top 10 movies of the year. Next we have Women Talking. This is getting a lot of, well, the Oscar nominations haven't come out yet, but I assume it's going to get a lot of recognition from screenplay and direction and performances. It was okay to me. It was, as the film is titled, it's called Women Talking, and there was a lot of talking. And listen, it wasn't necessarily like bad dialogue or bad performances. It was great direction. It was a great script. But it didn't move the needle for me like it did for a lot of people. It's not even, I don't even think it's available yet. I believe it's going to be available on Netflix come the middle of next month. But they did have a limited theatrical run in some limited theaters. But it's a group of women on an isolated religious colony that's struggling through their faith, and there's some situation going on with men taking advantage of the women there, and they're pretty much like sexual assaulting the women. And it's pretty much the women in this film are deciding if they want to stay or if they want to leave, and what comes with that if they make that decision. So I understand I sympathize with the women. I sympathize with that people that go through this situation, especially in these like small colonies that are so religious based, and they, brainwash you into thinking if you do something wrong, you're gonna go to hell. I mean, it has all those undertones in there, but it was just, like I said, it felt like I mentioned earlier, feeling like a screen, like watching a play. And I know this was adapted off of something. It felt like that. And I'm not the biggest fan of like when things are just so like, feels like I'm watching a play, but it's coming out in a couple weeks, man. Definitely another slow burn, but can't deny the great performances and the great direction. And particularly Rooney Mara was great. Claire Floyd was great, and I'm a Jesse Buckley, one of my favorite actors. So Women Talking, like I said, it got a C for me, but definitely give it a watch if you guys like those type of movies. But to me, it just didn't really move the needle for me like that. But moving on to the next one here. This is Glass Onion. Again, another review that I have on the channel. I personally prefer the first Knives Out over this new one. I just feel like the mystery was a little bit better. And one of my issues with the new one was it felt too on the nose. Like the first half of the film, like the characters, like the way Rian Johnson, and I appreciate what Rian Johnson was going for with these characters represented, but it felt like it was like too like, quote unquote, too refined. Like the actors were the characters were just too on the nose for me. But as the film goes on and you kind of understand what the film's going for, it kind of leveled out for me. But overall, man, it's a fun movie. Has a lot of great fun performances, beautiful cinematography, and I'm really excited to see what Rian Johnson does next. Again, just check out my full review, but it was a B tier for me personally. But again, like I said, I prefer the first one over the second one. But I'm still excited to see what Ryan Johnson has in store for the third one, and can't wait to see what cast he gets together for this third one. But moving on to another doc that I saw earlier this year, by the name of All That Breathes. This is another, again, I'm not a big documentary fan, not for any particular reason. I just don't seek them out as often as I do, feature length films. But this was a good one, man. This is a film about these, I guess you want to call them scientists potentially, but they pretty much are trying to stop this extinction of these birds in their country that are being distinct. I think they went by the name of black kites, if I'm not mistaken. And it's the reason they want to keep these birds alive is because it's huge to the ecosystem out there, and it's just showing you their day in life of being scientists and preserving these birds, and also giving you a little bit of insight on their family situation and their dynamics, and how they navigate, and how much money they put in this, and time and effort, and it seems like it's getting ignored. And it's just a really like just great film with a lot of good messages behind it about fighting for what you believe in, and just two brothers, man, that are just devoted into putting preserving this ecosystem over their lives, man, and their husbands, their dads. But it was just a really good document that I really recommend. It was one of my favorites this year, up there with Bad Axe. So definitely All That Breathes is one of my favorites this year. Moving on to my next one here, that's Elvis. Just quick brief thoughts on this. I didn't love Elvis. I definitely enjoyed the performance by Austin Butler, and I can understand why he's getting all the attention in which he deserves, because he was the saving grace for me in this film. Because everyone else, even my man Tom Hanks, everyone in this film was just like in another movie to me. But Austin Butler was great. I like the director, but I don't know. This film was just not as high on my list as it was for everyone else. But I can appreciate people that loved it, especially those that are fans of Elvis. And from what I know, from people that do love Elvis, they feel like it did him justice. But Elvis wasn't that high on my list. But wrapping things up with another kind of international film here, Holy Spider, which I'm going to go ahead and put at my B tier. This is about a film who is a journalist looking into investigating these serial killers. The serial killer is killing a bunch of sex workers, known as the Spider Killer. And the killer believes that what they're doing is it's another kind of international film. And I think it took place in Afghanistan, maybe, or Iran. But anyway, the killer thinks that what he's doing is good because he's cleansing the earth of all these unholy people because they're sex workers. But it was a good movie, man. It kind of shows you again different religions, different perspectives, different point of views, different lifestyles, and very dark at times too. Like the film didn't shy away from the brutal murders of the serial killer. And listen, this is not like a mystery. Like the film shows you within the first 5 minutes who the killer is. So it's not like a mystery, like who's the killer. It's more so about what makes a person do this, and why religion can be a dangerous thing for some people, because there are just some fanatics out there that just do things like kill people because they believe it's for the betterment of their religion. So it's definitely something that was really well written, really great acting, and some really powerful moments in the film. So Holy Spider, I believe, is getting some international love for the Oscar season, but definitely a film that I really enjoyed. And what do we have next? Last but not least, TV show wise, baby, White Lotus. If you all didn't know, I covered that all season and had a good time doing so. So you can check out my full review, but that's an S tier for me. It wrapped up in December. So that was the show that I watched last month or I should say this month, that I really love. So there you have it, guys. That is the movies and shows I saw. And just to quickly wrap this up, we can get into the meat and potatoes, just to rank things. I'm going to go ahead and start with the S tier. I'm going to go RRR, Babylon, and The White Lotus. Then going to my A tier, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. It's almost pretty much set, if I'm being honest with you. Here I will probably go here and go here. And yeah, that's pretty much and I'll put this here. Yeah, that's how I would probably rank my A tier. And then my B tier is I will go here. I will go Glass Onion, Teal, EO, and So that's how my B tier would look like for my rankings. C tier, I would probably go white noise auto. This is probably actually pretty set for me. And then my D tier is pretty much set as well. Actually, I would watch Funny Pages before I would watch Kindred again. So there you have it, all 23 movies and shows that I saw for the month of December and how I would rank them. Make sure to share your rankings in the comments, like, share, and comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next breakdown. So that is the end of the clip. And let me pivot over and see the comments, and then we'll get into our best of. So let me go ahead and catch up to the comments here. Appreciate you guys and listening to me for talking for almost 40 minutes. I get some water here. All right. I got some people coming in saying happy New Year. Happy New Year to you all. RJD did a pretty hardcore. Yeah, he had a pretty crazy childhood. I mean, he was pretty fortunate. Obviously, he had a dad in Hollywood. His mom was an actress. Pretty fortunate kid. But yeah, he definitely dealt with some substance abuse issues, as you all may or may not know. But it kind of shows you, a little bit of that in the film there. Let's see here. Ric Flair's story is one of my favorite. Okay, I gotta check that out. I'm a big Ric Flair fan from my wrestling days. What's going on, Josh? She said it was pretty good. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a pretty good film, but wasn't as high on it as some other people. Kendrick isn't good. I was going to watch that. Yeah, I didn't like Kendrick, man. I wasn't a fan of that at all. This Place's Rule on HBO is a really good. Okay, I got to check that out. Again, I'm not a big doc fan, but I got to dive deeper into these documentaries, man. Some really good ones out there. I got to be watching. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. We'll check it out with your recommendation there. Let's see here. Interview with the Vampire in House of Dragon. Oh yeah, we'll get into that. That's gonna be our very next topic. So put a pin in that. We're gonna get to some of our favorite shows here in a bit. Let's see. Just watched Violent Night, one of my new favorite Christmas. Yeah, Violent Night was a lot of fun for sure. Let's see here. We got Carlo with the $20 super chat. Showing some love. I appreciate you, Carlo. If you're still here, because again, I know I was going over my list there. I didn't want to ignore you guys, but I just want to hurry up and get through it. But shout out to you. What sci-fi horror can I be expecting? What sci-fi horror can I be expecting? Are you referring to like the best of the year or coming up next year? Because let me know if you're still here, Carlo. Let me know clarification on what sci-fi or horror you're referring to, like which one's some of my favorites this past year, or what was one am I looking forward to next year. Let me know, Carlo. But shout out to you, man, with the super chat. I really appreciate you, man. Oliver absolutely love the menu. Got to show it to my 15-year-old cook obsessed little brother. That's what's up. Yeah, it was some. I mean, listen, those dishes, Oliver, were fire. It made me hungry, man. Made me want to get a cheeseburger. For those that seen the film, they canceled Raised by Wolves. They did, which is unfortunate, and I don't know if it's found a new home yet, or if it will find a new home. Triangle Sadness was good. Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Saw Triangle Sadness 3 times in the theater. I love that movie. Yeah, 3 times, 2.5 hours. That's a lot of commitment, Oliver. I would assume that's one of your favorite films of the year. Check it out. Thanks. Babylon was phenomenal, chaotic, lots of fun. Couldn't agree with you more. Oliver RRR, next on my list. Just talked to my girlfriend about watching this weekend. Do yourself a favor, Oliver. Watch it. It's a wonderful film. Surprisingly enjoyed this film. Was that RRR, Zia? It's on movie. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Culture. Appreciate it. Definitely recommend you all check that out. Love the love for Babylon. Best theater watch for me this year. Well, the love for me, you're going to get it. But unfortunately, a lot of people didn't like that. Well, I wouldn't say didn't like it. They didn't support it. And then the ones that did see it got a pretty low audience score and Rotten Tomato score, which, hey, to each their own, man. But like you, my fan, my friend, I love Babylon. Tarian Rain, what's going on, man? How we doing today? Happy New Year. Happy holidays to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Tarian, man. Great content creator, as well as Culture too. I know he's a YouTuber, and we're gonna might have something in the works for you all. So keep an eye out for that. But shout out to my man Tarian coming through, showing some love. Zia is still pissed they canceled. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I'm pissed too. But if we're being honest with each other, the ratings, a lot of people, it was a strong fan base, me being one of them. I covered the show every week, but it didn't push a needle from a prescription standpoint from HBO Max. But hopefully, man, I would love to see Apple pick that up, or Amazon, because we need answers for season 3, right? Yeah, I'm so bad at that. Yes, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Zia. Thank you. Thank you. You didn't warn us about the nasty scene. I did. And you say I didn't, Urban. If you watch my review, that's literally, I have a section in my review, my spoiler-free review. I says, don't say I didn't warn y'all. I told you the first 5 minutes of the movie is disgusting. And there's a couple other moments that are just kind of over the top and crazy. But I did warn y'all, man. Go watch my review, Urban. I let people know you don't want to be eaten when an elephant gets on screen. Is this the best of the worst? We're going to get into it now, Zia. But again, shout out to everyone joining us. Let me go ahead and turn this off here for the rankings and pull up my other list of my Letterboxd. If you guys aren't following me there, do yourself a favor and follow your boy on Letterboxd. That's where I document all my new movies and stuff like that. All these stupid ads, man. All right, so so what I see, 80, does it show? I think I saw 89. I'm gonna see more movies this year. Yeah, 89 films, 89 new movies I saw this new year, or 2022. And I'm gonna probably add like 7 more between now and tomorrow. I got a couple more movies I want to see, but this is a list of all the new movies I saw. I'm gonna also talk about shows, but this is the portion of today's live stream that we're gonna be getting into our best of 2022. And again, that's movies and shows. So I want you all to go ahead and start throwing them in chat, and we'll have a brief of those shows and movies, what we loved, what we are excited for, whether it's a show for coming out for another season, whether it's a new movie that's going to have a sequel or a franchise. Let's talk about the best of the best, man, because I honestly do think we had a pretty spectacular year for movies and shows of that matter, and particularly in the movie realm. We're still recovering from the pandemic. There were some films that were delayed for many years. I'm thinking of Top Gun Maverick, for example. That film was supposed to come out in 2020, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I can look that up, or if someone can look it up for me in the chat. That film had its first trailer like at the end of 2019, if I'm not mistaken, at one of the conventions. And it finally graced the big screen. Let me just double check. I think that was it was like a 2-year hiatus with that film due to the pandemic. Let's see. Yeah, 2019. Yeah, it was scheduled for July 12th of 2019, but it was delayed obviously for the pandemic reasons. But smart businessman, incredible entertainer Tom Cruise said, "You know what, Paramount, we got something special here. Let's go ahead and wait till things simmer down and put this movie out, and let's just go ahead and start. Let's just start my list off. I'm gonna probably run down this list and highlight the best ones, but let me just go to, where's Top Gun, man? Where's that awesome ass movie, which also did make my top 10 list. Again, just a quick little plug. If you all haven't, go check out my top 10 list to see where Top Gun Maverick landed for me. But where do we even begin with this film? First off, let me just say I had seen Top Gun Maverick when I was a kid, but I didn't really remember it. It didn't really hit me like that. But I was dating a girl very briefly in what was this, 2020 or 20, was it 2021? No, it was 2021. I was dating this girl, and her family were like big Top Gun fans. And one of our first dates was she bought tickets for us to go see Top Gun. The first one, it was in theaters for a limited time. Y'all remember in 2021 they were starting to ramp up movie theaters, and they were putting like big hits in the theater. So she had bought tickets for us to see that film, and man, it was definitely an experience seeing it in theaters. And even seeing it in theaters, I still enjoyed the film. It's still, it's very dated, very much so a product of the 80s. But I appreciated what it meant during that time. And, rest in peace to Tony Scott, who directed the original one. But I wasn't I wasn't a diehard fan of the OG, even seeing it in theaters. Again, very great theatrical experience, but it wasn't something that just resonated with me. But oh my goodness, man, when I saw this film in theaters, whenever it was it May was when it came out, or April when I might have saw it, I was floored. I was absolutely floored by Top Gun Maverick, man. Not only do you not have to see the original, which obviously you saw the original, like I just stated, it obviously gives you context. You understand the motivations, the relationships, the dynamic between Goose and or Rooster and his, obviously losing his dad. Spoiler alert for those that haven't seen the first Top Gun, but that whole emotional beat really is why you probably want to see the first one to understand the second one, the emotional resonance, as well as Iceman and his relationship with Maverick. But even putting that aside, this was just a fantastically made movie. Joseph Kosinski, who I believe he worked with Tom Cruise on another film that the story wasn't that great, but it was visually stunning. What was the name of that damn film? But he did Tron, and he did the film that's not coming to my mind right now. If you guys have seen the film, let me know in the chat. What was the name of that damn movie? Oblivion. Oblivion was the name of the movie that he worked on with Tom Cruise, and he also did Only the Brave, and he did, like I said, Tron Legacy, and he did Spiderhead. Oh, I didn't see Spiderhead. That was that Chris Hemsworth film, but neither here nor there. Joseph Krasinski directed the hell out of this movie, not just from a production standpoint, from the aerial shots and them being in the planes, but just from the pacing, the emotional resonance, the great callbacks, the great crowd pleasing moments. And man, I know people have their thoughts on Tom Cruise, but man, he's one of my favorite actors, man, ever. The man just knows how to entertain us, and he's actually acting in this movie. And not that he doesn't act in any other movie, but he's like really giving a really great performance. Like, you see the growth and progression of Maverick, again, from not only the first film, but just within this movie, you see the character arc from where he's going as like, well, I don't know if I can do this mission, guys. It's like, Maverick, this isn't a mission we want you to be on. And obviously, we know how things play out. But Top Gun Maverick, man, is why movie theaters are important, man, because this is just one of the best theatrical experiences I had last year, or I'm saying last year like we're in 2023, but had this past year. I just love this movie, man. I rewatched it like last week, and it just still hits. I don't own it quite yet. I was waiting for it to go on sale for Black Friday, which it didn't. But I almost bit the bullet and just paid the full price. But I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale. I have a screener for it, so I'm gonna watch that every so often until I get the physical copy. But it was one of my favorites, man. Again, you all can check out my top 10 list to see where it landed exactly. But Top Gun Maverick was one of the best films of this year, no doubt about it. And I think everyone collectively can agree with that. The Top Gun was one of the best of the best. Moving on to, I guess will alternate movies and shows. So we talked about favorite movies. Let's talk about our favorite shows. Favorite show, and again, I have a top 10 list on that, but showing some love to some other shows. Maybe I talked about Winning Time in my top 10 shows, but let's talk about it again, man. Winning Time was one of my favorite shows this past year, y'all. Like, it was such a good show. Number one, I am a little biased because I am a Lakers fan. Shout out to the 90s and 2000 Lakers with Kobe and Shaq and Phil and Robert Horry, Derek Fisher, Brian Shaw, the whole damn crew throughout that dynasty that we had. And rest in peace to my GOAT, which is Kobe being Bryant. Yeah, man, I really love this show because I've obviously been a Lakers fan. I know the history of the Lakers, Magic and Kareem and that whole damn crew, which was fantastic. But man, I really enjoyed the show, man. HBO was probably my favorite network this year, or premium network show. They never miss, man. And this was another hit for them, brought to us by the same people, Adam McKay, Will Ferrell, people that's worked on Succession and then The Big Short and a lot of great movies and shows this last decade. But the flavor, the tone, the pacing, the over-the-topness, the craziness, the basketball moments, the highlights that I love growing up as a kid, seeing Bird versus Magic, seeing Magic going against, the 76ers, his hero, and Dr. J. This is a great show, man. I'm really excited for season 2. I thought the performances were great. I understand the criticism out there for the show it wasn't accurate to the real life portrayals of the people that they played. Like, Jerry West had some words about how he was portrayed, which, I thought Jason Clarke did a good job, but he definitely played it. He leaned into the more angry side of Jerry West, the more competitive side of Jerry West. And also they, rest in peace to Jerry, to Dr. Buss, who was played by John C. Riley, who I thought was great in the show, but again, I know some people didn't think that that was the most accurate portrayal of Dr. Buss. But listen, man, it's a really good show, and like I said, I'm really excited for season 2 and to see what they have in store for us. Which I believe I do have a top 10 most anticipated show, and as you'll see, if that show's on the list or not, but if it is, I mentioned that it will be available come summer of 2023. So that was one of my favorite shows this year. But let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys have any favorite shows, and go ahead and start dropping your favorite movies as well in the comments below. Let's see. Let me pull into the comments here. 89. 89. Movies. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm trying to push 100. Like that's like this is like a slow year for me. Like a couple years ago, I had like 120 something films, but yeah, 89. It was a pretty solid year to say the least. Wow, I'll probably watch it. Hey, man, it pays to be a big movie fan like myself, man. I like to see new movies, man, and plus, being a part of the Critic Association, I get the benefit of seeing screeners, and this past month, I think I showed them off. I have shorts on them. I got a stack of movies that I watched this last, as you all saw from my rankings, about 30 movies that I saw in a span of like 2 weeks. So yeah, man, it's a really good year. What's going on? Kevin 80 plus. Wow, the man puts in work. I appreciate it, man. I love it. Love watching movies, guys. 2020 was the year before. Yeah, like I said, it was crazy, man, how much that film got pushed back, but luckily it was a smart move because 1.4 billion. It was a 1.4 billion smart move by Tom Cruise and Paramount to hold off on that diamond of a film. So yeah, Top Gun Maverick was great. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even read your comments there. When DC and Marvel make their Nova and Green Lantern projects, they can learn a lot from Top Gun. Zia, perfectly said. And on that note, Zia, Joseph Kosinski, call him up, Marvel, call him up, DC. Zia, if you're still in the chat, and knowing, you're a Top Gun fan, would you rather see Joseph Kosinski? And then, of course, there's other directors, that can do the film. But if you were to choose, would you rather see Joseph Kosinski direct a Green Lantern film? And everyone in the chat, too. Would you rather see the director of Top Gun Maverick direct a Green Lantern film, a Green Lantern Corps, John Stewart, the whole Green Lantern Corps? Or would you like to see him direct a Nova film? Ooh. For me, to answer my own question, I'm going to go with DC. Y'all might know I'm a big DC fan. I would rather see him do a DC project, and I would love to see John Stewart. Please get him on the big screen. But speaking of John Stewart, and if you want to, maybe have him being ushered in by, Hal Jordan being played, an older Hal Jordan, may I add, being played by Tom Cruise himself. I don't know. Is that a little bit wild? I don't know. That might be a wild sell there because Tom Cruise wants to be the star. So, he might not want to be a cameo or a supporting character, but yeah, that would be dope. I love that suggestion there, Zia. Devin, yep, that's love it. Devin George, Rick Fox, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel. That was the pre-Kobe era. Kobe replaced Eddie Jones when he was a rookie as a shooting guard, but that was, yeah, man, the old Lakers, man. That's a throwback. Top Gun Maverick is now streaming. Yeah, it is. The creative center. How does one get into Critic Association? So long story short, I used to go to screeners for the MovieFiles. I used to go on different websites. I don't have the name of the websites now, but what are some of the websites? There's so many different like what I used to do is I would go on these websites. They would have contests. Like you put your email, put your name, and you can enter to win 2 tickets to go see a new film for press screenings. I did that for many, many years. But what happened was after I went to so many different screenings, you start to see the same people, right? And I'm referring to not only like people watching movies, but people that are hosting these events, that's hosting these, win a contest, radio stations. And I would eventually I got enough courage to just walk up to him and say, hey, I come to a lot of these, and I would love to, I review films and TV shows on my platforms. I would love to, make it official, man. Who do I talk to kind of become a critic? And long story short, they got me into contact with my local critic association here in St. Louis. I applied for it. It's like application you got to fill out. You got to show them that you actually, put in the work, that you do review films and videos, on a frequent basis. Showed them my resume, and a couple months later, here we are getting screeners and getting the opportunity to be a critic. So yeah, to wrap it up, to give you the long story, the short end of it, reach out, Google, wherever you live, just Google Film Association. Like, I'm in St. Louis, so I typed in St. Louis Film Association, and it'll take you to a website, and it'll have like the about or contact us. And when you hit the contact us, it'll most likely have their requirements on what that you need to do to be a film critic. But like I said, for me, I did the footwork first. I introduced myself, gave them my name. They pass my name around, and people reach out to me, so on and so forth. But like I said, for easier terms, if you don't go to a lot of movie press screenings or whatnot, or early screenings in your local theater, just Google in your association. Like I said, I'm St. Louis. If you're Chicago, if you're Nebraska, just type it in, Nebraska Film Association, and I'm pretty sure if they have one, it'll take you right to their website. So hopefully that answered your question, my friend. All right, so she's saying probably Green Lantern, only because I don't know if Marvel would be given the full reins to do a Nova the way he wants. Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. Let's see here. I like the Shaq series. I gotta watch that because I'm a big Shaq fan. Tonio, have you ever thought of becoming a Rotten Tomato critic with this worth ethic? There's no reason you shouldn't. I have, and if this is the Tony I'm thinking of, because that last name looks familiar. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing great. Let me know if you're the Tony I'm thinking of, that we follow each other on Instagram and on YouTube for a couple years now. But if not, shout out to you, Antonio. But to answer your question, I have thought about it. I applied 1 year and didn't get accepted, but hopefully I think applications are accepted in May, I believe, of every year, or March. So I will be applying this year, and fingers crossed I can become an official Rotten Tomatoes critic. But yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I'm definitely interested. Thanks for sharing that with me. I'm in Maryland. Yeah, for sure, man. Hit me up on IG. I can help you out some more, because I was talking about those websites I used to go on to at least get my foot in the door to go to early screens, go into contests, so I can send you those links. So yeah, if you have an Instagram or Twitter, hit me up on a DM, and I can share those links with you, and maybe answer some more questions in depth if you need that. But yeah, man, anytime. So all right, so we talked about Top Gun Maverick. We talked about Winning Time. Let's see, what other movies stood out to me this year. The best of the best for me. I'm a horror fan, man. I talk about it a lot on this channel. I don't get to talk about horror as much as I want to, but that's gonna probably change, hopefully, in the coming year. But I'm through and through. I'm a horror and sci-fi guy. Those are my two genres, man. Grew up in those two genres. Love them. love them in horror, man, especially in the subgenre horror. I love slasher films, and one of my favorite slasher franchises besides Halloween is Scream. Wes Craven's Scream, man. Classic 1996. What's your favorite scary movie? Love that film. Really enjoyed the sequels, and particularly the second one. Third one was okay, but I really liked the second one. The fourth one was very meta. I don't revisit the fourth one as often as I do part two, and not as much as I do part three. But I appreciated the fourth one for what it was, and the reveals, and the connections to Sydney. And we're going to be getting some returning characters from the fourth one and this new one. But this and the sixth one, but the fifth one, man, was really, really cool, man. It was brought to us by the same directors that did Ready or Not, which was another good, fun, final girl type of film that I enjoyed. But this new one, man, really worked for me, because it could have went south. I know some people didn't like it, and I respect that, but I really love this new one, man. I'm really excited for the sixth one. I really like the new batch of characters that we got in this new one. Obviously, a lot of us are big fans of Jenna Ortega, who had a hell of a year in 2022. That's another best of. Jenna Ortega's career was a launching pad this past year. I had first saw Jenna. What was the first time I saw her? I think it was in Iron Man 3, if I'm not mistaken. It was a very small role. She was the senator's daughter, If y'all remember that, in Iron Man 3, she was a little girl in a wheelchair. But that was the first time I saw her. And then the next time I saw her was in the season 2 of You, which she had a pretty big role in. And I don't want to give too much away from You, but for those that watch this show, she's one of the only people that got away. So she can maybe pop up in the new season, which I do have screeners for. And I'm really excited to check out the new season of You, my guilty pleasure show. But anyway, going back to Scream 5, this was just I love the new batch of characters. Like I mentioned, Jenna Ortega, who plays Tara, Melissa Barrera, I think is her name, who played Sam. And if you guys seen Scream 5, how Sam tied into some other characters from the legacy film, the first Scream, which, speaking of the first Scream, it was great to see the OGs, Courtney Scott as Gail, of course, Sydney Prescott, one of the best final girls. To me, it's, Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. Then under that is Sydney Prescott, and then, Nancy from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But it was great seeing them, and Dewey, my man David Arquette. Again, not giving too much away here, because just in case people haven't seen it, but his moment was, I know, divisive, but it was a great scene. I'll just say that. But no, man, I really like the new cast. I really like the direction they went. This whole idea of like fan culture, toxicity in the fan culture, and how all that played out in the film, and the callback to the original home. So I'm a fan of Scream, man. It was one of my favorite slashers of the year, but it was second to my favorite one, which I'll talk about here in a second. But I really enjoyed Scream 5, and I'm really excited for this new one come out in March of 2023, and I'll be sharing a top. I think I shot the other day a top 5 most anticipated horror films. And you all can definitely expect to see Scream on that list. Scream 6, that is. But yeah, man, Scream 5 was one of my favorites of this past year when it comes to the horror films. But let me know if there's any horror fans out there, and if so, if you guys were fans of Scream 5. Let's see here. Going back to the chat. Tony, yes, I thought it was, man. It's been a long time, man. I know you love film just as much as I do, and I miss seeing. I don't know if you're on IG as much as it used to be, but shout out to you, man. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, it is Antonio. You're thinking of. Been working a ton. Just stopping off here. Got to go see Babylon today, based on your record. Yeah, man. Shout out to Antonio, man. If you're still here, like I said, man, I hope you're doing well. And let me know what you thought about Babylon. That's awesome. Tyrion says, crazy to believe Scream 6 was coming out a year after. Yeah, I mean, that's the not to say trope, but that's what happened with the first Scream. The second one came out pretty quickly after that, and the third one came out. I think the only one that took a long time was Scream 4, and obviously Scream 5 took 10 years to make to come out. But the first one came out, and the second one came out the year after that. So I love that. If strike while the iron's hot. I love that. And it's not rushed too. Like I think the plan was to have a trilogy with this new cast. So like it was already kind of set in motion, but they obviously had to wait to see if it was a successful Scream 5, which it was. So yeah, I'm very excited that they didn't wait 2-3 years to get a sequel. Do you have Peacock? I do not. If so, best shows on there was Fresh Prince and The Best Man Final Chapter. I do not have Peacock, but yeah, those are 2 shows that I've heard some pretty good things about. And I heard Fresh Prince season 2 is coming out pretty soon, so that's dope. Me, The Nightmare on Elm Street, and Hellraiser are my jam. 2 great franchises, my friend. If I were to pick and choose, for me, it's Nightmare all day. Like, no disrespect to Pinhead and the Cenobites, but those sequels are rough, bro. But no, I definitely appreciate the original. I actually prefer the second Hellraiser over the first one, and I actually like the new one. I did a review on the new Hellraiser. That was a really good reimagining, because it wasn't a sequel or a follow-up to any of the other ones. But yeah, shout out to Hellraiser and Pinhead, but man, Nightmare, that's my guy, Freddy Krueger. Let's see. Hello, movie lovers. Hello to you. Let's see. Tarina says Scream is one of my favorite. Yeah, it's definitely up there, man. Like I said, for me, it's Halloween, Scream, Nightmare. What else is I'm a Chucky fan. Leatherface is cool. I'm not the biggest. I love the first original Texas Chainsaw, and I love the remake that they did with Jessica Biel back in the 2000s. But another horror franchise is Evil Dead. I'm a big fan of that too. And shout out to remake 2013 Evil Dead, one of the best remakes ever. Let's see here. Let me go back to my list and we'll talk about some shows after this. Speaking of shows, my man David coming in with 1899 was just okay. Some people that yeah. No, I reviewed it on the channel, David, as you may or may not know. But yeah, I was a big fan of 1899. It wasn't as good as Dark. For those that don't know, Dark is one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time, if you ask me. Best use of time travel, best use of storytelling, and that nature of what time travel can do when it involves different family and family trees. But neither here nor there. Yeah, 1899 was a good show, but I had high hopes for it, and it didn't really deliver in that department. Again, comparing it to one of the greatest shows in my eyes in Dark. But it was fine, and it opens. Obviously, it opens. If you've seen 1899, it's definitely some potential for a season two, which I think they said they're going to be doing a season two. But I don't know how well 1899 did in comparison to like the 3 seasons of Dark as far as like the numbers go. But hopefully we can get more because I love those creators. They're great. And like I said, speaking of shows, man, let me think of some other shows. Throw some suggestions in the chat, guys. But let me think of another show that we can talk about before we get back to the movies. Best of. Let me think. The Boys. I don't know why The Boys is coming to mind, but let's talk about The Boys season 3, man. I'm a big fan of The Boys, y'all. I think it's one of the best shows on TV. It not to make it a DC Marvel conversation, but I think it's the best comic book show on TV, bar none. The writing's fantastic. The absurdity, craziness, chaoticness, diabolicalness, if that's even a word, is fantastic. The characters, man. Billy, speaking of diabolical, love Billy the Butcher. Carl Urban is just a fantastic performer in that role, and I love what he went through this season of this bloodthirst and him working with Soldier Boy, which was another great addition to this new season. But and Jack Quaid as Huey and Starlight and Maeve, all those characters, Frenchie, all those characters are great. What makes this show so great to me? Many different reasons, like I said, characters, craziness, absurdity, hero-gasm, wild stuff. Can we talk about Homelander for a second and just acknowledge Anthony Starr as arguably maybe top 5 villains, TV villains of all time? Especially highlighted in this most recent season with this duality and this kind of complexity of Homelander. I think his real name is John in that universe, but following John's story and just seeing him unhinged this season was some of the best stuff on TV for me, especially with this new wrinkle. Can we talk spoilers? I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much with the boys, but the new wrinkle of a let's just say his family, the new additions to his family, who he finds out is a part of his family, I thought was fantastic, and what it can mean for season 4, which I can't wait for. But man, Homelander is just so well written, and Anthony Starr. I think of the scene where he's in the mirror talking to himself, and it reminded me so much of Spider-Man, which I mentioned in my review, the Norman Osborn moment when he's talking to himself, hyping himself up, and letting himself know who he is. Man, he's the most unstoppable force in that boys universe. And I just love what Anthony did this season, and I love this new wrinkle in some characters having new abilities and what that meant for the show and what it can mean for characters moving forward. And man, it was just such a great season. I think of, again, Hero-gasm was crazy, but even the finale was so great, man. And so many great reveals. And man, A-Train, he went through it this season, didn't he? And I'm not a big A-Train fan. Like I'm not referring to the acting or the performance. I'm talking about I don't like that character for what that character does in the show and just F's up all the time. But he had a nice little moment when he did his speedster. He got his powers back and did something really cool to a particular character. That was a highlight for me. If there were any negatives for me this past season, the butt of the joke, the punchline of every joke is the deep. I want some more creative stuff with the deep, because right now he just seems to be just fitting in that one, the narrative. He likes fish and likes to do things with fishes. He's the Aquaman. He's the the fish lover, literally. But I hope they give him something more to do next season. That's not just jokes, because I think it's a very fascinating character. But that's probably like my only crit. And also, too, I guess I would say another criticism, not a criticism, but something I hope they explore more is Stan's character, Giancarlo Esposito character. He was kind of, brought up in the first half and kind of was, for obvious reasons. If you see the season, you know why they sidelined him for stuff that happened. But I hope he's involved more, because I really like, number one, one of the best actors out there. But I hope that we get more of him. And what else are some other things that we can talk about with this show? I mean, it's just a great show through and through. It's the best superhero show. It's one of the best shows in general, if you ask me, on television. And I cannot wait for season 4 of The Boys. Let me see. Let me go back to the comments here. Scream 5 was straight. Let's see. Still think that Ortega is a tool till she proves me otherwise. Gotta say, did not watch too many movies with her. Well, let me suggest some things for you, my friend bud. Um, Movies, like I said, I think she's only been in a handful of films in her young career. Like I said, the first time I saw her was in Iron Man 3. And but I think this year alone she was in like 4 different movies. One being X, which we'll talk about here in briefly. What else was she? Oh, she's in a bunch of like smaller roles. So Iron Man 3, like I mentioned, was actually her first role. She was in Insidious 2. Small role there. Afterwords, words. The Babysitter, Killer Queen. She was the best part of that film. I did not like the sequel to Babysitter. The Fallout, but watch The Fallout. It's on HBO Max. It's a really great film. If you want to see her acting chops, watch that film. We talked about Scream, Studio 66, 666. I didn't watch that. Really enjoyed her and X. But as far as TV goes, do yourself a favor. Watch Wednesday. Watch Wednesday on Netflix, and watch that, number one, and then watch Fallout. And I think you'll change your tone. She's a really great actress, if you ask me. Scream 5 was straight. Let's see. What I'm worried about is Nev Campbell not being a part of 6. Controversial take, Tyrion. I think it's a good move, man. I think it's time to kind of move on, man. And you saw that in Scream 5. They you know, we didn't get Sydney and Dewey and Gail until like halfway through the film. And honestly, I was okay with that. I was really enjoying the new cast members. So I actually think it was inevitably going to happen that Sydney was going to be a part of it. And of course, y'all may or may not know there was some controversy about her. And I totally stand with her. Like, she's the franchise, right? And she should get her payday. She's owed it, right? She's brought so much to the franchise. But I don't think a Scream film without Sydney is gonna be a bad Scream film, if you ask me. But I think they're gonna work it out. We're gonna probably see her in the future. But like I said, I was okay with her not being a part. Well, I'm okay with her not being a part of the 6th one. But I would imagine they'll probably work it out and bring her back for the 7th one. The Boys, yeah, I agree. Kicked a lot of ass. Love it. The Boys is too political. Too many. Funny enough, I actually like the politics of that show, because it kind of just shows you how people put these celebrities on a pedestal and how people can use power to their advantage. So I like the political angle that the show has to offer. Really enjoyed the new Hellraiser. Yeah, I agree. The new set pieces, designs, body horror. Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. Really, really enjoyed it. I talked about it, but I'm hyped for. Yeah, Joker 2. Yeah, yeah, they're shooting it now. I believe the first date of their shooting was in December. There's some set photos, or not set photos, but they had the picture of the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix getting like shaved at Arkham. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. It's 2024, so it's not coming out this year, but next year. It's coming out in 2024. It doesn't come out till 2 years from now, or a year and a half from now. So really looking forward to the second one, man. I didn't think we needed a sequel, but hey, we'll see what it's about, man. Oh yeah, love 80s music playing in the background like anyone's seen. I haven't. I don't even know what that is. Travis, what's up, Travis? What's up? Happy New Year's. I'm a big horror fan. Freddy and Candyman, the first one, were my faves. A show I didn't really didn't don't hear nothing about anymore is Invincible. I know I spelled it wrong, but if you're referring to Invincible, the animated show, Love that show. Covered all of season 1. I'm going to be covering all of season 2. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic show, and it didn't come out this year, obviously, but it came out in 2021, and I think it blew up. A lot of people were talking about it from at least my circle of people that I follow and talk to about comic book stuff. So yeah, I love Invincible, man. I can't wait for season 2, which apparently is going to be coming out a lot sooner than we anticipated. So very big fan of that. And then to your first comments, as I mentioned earlier, big Freddy Krueger fan, and yeah, shout out to the first 2 Candyman, more so Candyman 1 over Candyman 2. But yeah, I like Candyman. I didn't like the new one by Nia DaCosta, who I'm a big fan of, but I didn't really like that. Her, Yaya, and Tara, Tiana Paris. But yeah, man, shout out to my horror fans out there. And it was a great year for horror. By the way, and we'll pivot over. We just talked about The Boys. Let's pivot over to some movies here in a second. But it was a great year for horror, if you ask me. The Boys' best dialogue, hands down, smart and funny. Yep, I agree. Let's see here. Me and my son just watched Gremlins. Of course, it is my 5th and 6th, and it is first time for. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's a great classic. That's a shout out to you, man. Got your kids watching some great content, man. And Gremlins is a great franchise for sure. Wow, Kevin. Wow is not even a word. It's diabolical. Let's see here. I think Tyrion says, I think Wednesday is her breakout role for sure. Oh, 100%. 100%. Again, she's been in some big stuff. Like I mentioned, the Marvel stuff, really small role. And I would imagine Marvel's probably calling her to get her a part of some future franchises or even DC. I would love to see her as she would be a great, I don't know, like a Barbara Gordon or something. But yeah, no, that definitely agree with you. Wednesday was a breakout role. I really enjoyed Wednesday, man. I was very surprised by it because it started off like, kind of YA stuff, but it really kind of branched out in the further episodes and really enjoyed a lot of the elements of that show a lot. And I'm really excited for what they do with season 2. Maxine's going to be 6. Yeah, Maxine will be sick. Much more preferred X over Pearl, but which speaking of, let's go ahead. So, I mean, we're talking horror, and we're gonna get to some other films here. Let me point out because I'm gonna highlight some of the films that weren't on my top 10 list. X was in my honorable mentions. My favorite horror film, one of my favorite horror films this past year was X. It's my favorite slasher, man. I thought Ty West did such a great job, but just a throwback. It definitely had, paid homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was just such a fun ride with some really great performances, man. Even though I said I prefer X over Pearl, I definitely think that Mia Goth, for obvious reasons, was given a lot more to do in Pearl. So I preferred her performance in that one, but she was still great in X, and following her character, Maxine, and that was great. But all the supporting cast members, man, Brittany Snow, Scott, Kid Cudi, and meeting Pearl and meeting her husband and just the slow burn. It was just a fun ride, man. It's just a fun thrill ride. Pick 'em off throwback slasher film with a little bit of commentary, right, about what fame can do to someone, and it's that whole conversation with them in the cabin about Jenna Ortega's character, who was, kind of opening up her sexuality, being a part of the film that they were trying to make. So it was it wasn't just a throwaway slasher film. It had, a lot of good, poignant plot points that I really enjoyed. And when it comes to those, like I mentioned, slasher is my favorite subgenre in horror. Those kills, it took about an hour to get into the kills, but I enjoyed the buildup because when the kills happen, it feels earned because you care for the characters, you're rooting for the characters. So I liked X a lot, man. That was one of my, like I said, it made my honorable mentions of last year or 2022, but it was definitely one of my favorite horror films this past year, and definitely can't wait to see, to Oliver's comments here, can't wait to see what they do with Maxine, because I mean, hell. Even though, like I said, X to me was better than Pearl, I still, enjoyed the elements of Pearl, and particularly Mia Goth's performance. But man, we might have a fantastic trilogy on our hands with X, Pearl, and Maxine. And shout out to Ty West and A24 for greenlighting those films, that we don't have to wait, 5 years before the sequel. We got 2 movies in 1 year, and apparently Maxine's gonna be coming out next year, early spring. So I love it, man. I can't wait to see what they do next. But let me know if there's any X fans in here, any Pearl fans in here. And like I said, Oliver brought up Maxine. Let me know if you're excited for Maxine. Let's see here. So we talked about X. Now let me match it with another show. Let me think of another show here. 2022 shows. Let me go HBO, and let me think of an HBO show that I really enjoyed this past year. Can we talk about White Lotus? I know we talked about it briefly, but I won't spend too much time on it. But it was definitely one of my favorite shows this year. But I'm trying to think of another HBO show. I'm trying to think of, was there any good horror shows this year, y'all? I guess we can talk a little bit about anyone out there watch Mike Flanagan's The Midnight Club. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it had some really good moments in the show. It was definitely his most YA project he did to date. For those that follow Mike Flanagan, he's done what I consider to be one of the greatest horror movies, shows, horror things ever. Was the Haunted on Hill House that came out on Netflix 2018, I think it was 2019. One of the scariest things I've ever seen, and probably one of the best effective jump scares ever. if you see the show, y'all know what jump scare I'm talking about, with the bent neck lady. But he did that. He did Blind Manor, which I thought was okay, gothic romance. And then he did the masterpiece, which I thought was so great, was Midnight Mass. And then most recently, his most recent project, and apparently his last project with Netflix, because he has an exclusive deal with Amazon. He has one more project with Netflix, The Fall of the Usher. But then that's going to be his last thing on Netflix. And then he's going to be exclusively working for Amazon for the next several years. But his most recent project was The Midnight Club, which is based on a bunch of novels, which, like I said, it was his most YA project to date, and it really shows because it is very much so a coming of age kind of story following these kids who are in this hospice who, they suffer from different illnesses that are terminal. And we're following this one young lady who has a very promising future, and very intelligent young lady, but she unfortunately gets the news she has cancer, and she goes to this hospice. And as you would imagine, Mike Flanagan, horror, there's some ghosts, there's some, ghost stories, there's some mysteries about this hospice. And it had its moments, man. I think it definitely was a good drama at points, but when it came to the horror elements, it didn't really stick the landing for me personally, because it never really fleshed out, and they didn't really explain much with the horror elements, which, if you all have been following the Midnight Club, it was set up to be, which it would have been weird because, again, not weird, but it would have been interesting because, again, he has an exclusive deal with Amazon, so I don't know how he would have did a season 2 unless he would have carried over to Amazon. But unfortunately, they're not going to do a season 2 with Netflix. But now with his new Amazon deal, maybe he can, I don't know what the rights are, but maybe he can do a season 2, because I would have liked to have seen a season 2, especially by how things ended in that show. But again, let me know in the comments if there's any Mike Flanagan fans, number one, and if so, if you watched The Midnight Club, and what did you think about it? And if you have a favorite Mike Flanagan project for movies and shows, let me know in the comments. But The Midnight Club was fine. Like I said, I didn't love it as much as I did Haunting on Hill House or Midnight Mass, but it was probably my fourth on my list, because I would go Haunting on Hill House, Midnight Mass, Blind Manor, and then Midnight Club. But let me know in the chat, guys, what you think about all that stuff there. Let's see here. Do you watch any other reviewers channels? Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of them. I can't even name them all because I would feel like I'm forgetting someone. But yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube, and I have a lot of people I watch, love their content. A lot of people that I collaborate with frequently that I love. So again, I don't want to name off any of them because I'll feel bad because I'll forget some of them because there's so many people that I love watching. But yes, I 100% watch a lot of content creators out there. And there's so many great ones. There's some great ones in the chat today. We got Tyrian in here who I watch. Culture was in here earlier. So yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers that I watch on YouTube that I think are fantastic. But yeah, I hope Ortega has the same time good actors had before her, like playing horror movies first and getting big. I think she's gonna be one of those. I don't know if she's gonna go big. She's, of course, like I said, she was in Marvel, but it was a small cameo. But I think she's gonna do the Timothy Chalamet, where I think she's gonna be doing like independent horror. Like I said, The Fallout was a nice small independent drama. She has Wednesday now, which is obviously a big hit, but I think I don't expect her to be. I want to do big stuff. I think she's gonna build out her career and really have a fantastic career. And if she does do big stuff, I think she's gonna be great. But whatever she decides to do, I think she's gonna be great in anything. So yeah. I don't know. I didn't watch the show, but I feel like it was for teenagers. I really wasn't interested. Are you talking about the Midnight Club? Yeah, like I said, it wasn't like stop what you're doing and watch your show, but it was okay. But Wednesday, yeah, I really enjoyed Wednesday a lot. I know it's like a blasphemy, resonated. Yeah, no, yeah, I mean it definitely is a younger audience, but it was some stuff I really enjoyed about that. Ortega's too young, and now it's just hype around her. But yeah, future will tell. Yeah, we'll see, man. Like I said, I think she's a fantastic young actress. X was a lot more fun for the audience than Pearl, but man, I did love Pearl. Yeah, and yeah, it was definitely more entertaining, but I just found the story and the pacing to be a little bit more my speed for Pearl. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good character study, but prior to her snapping, like her, going full Pearl killer mode, a lot of that stuff to me, the build up wasn't all that great for me. And she was like the only her mom. I would have loved to have explored that a little bit more. She was a good actress. The guy that she kind of had a little fling with, it was David like Cronin, something. I can't think of his name right now, but he was okay. But it was just like her level of acting was just so much more on a heightened level, and everyone else just seemed to kind of didn't really fall in line to me. But yeah, Pearl was good, but that performance was great. X surprised the hell. Yeah, same here, Tyrion, because Ty West, he's not, he's done some smaller projects. He does a lot of stuff with what was that? VHS. He does like those little shorts with VHS. And he also did one of my favorite horror films of the last decade was Your Next. That was one of my favorite films of the 2010s. And he also did a couple other smaller independent films. What was it? The House of the Devil, I think was the name of it. Didn't he do Your Next? I'm trying to look up his filmography. I might be wrong there, but I could have sworn he did. I know he was in the film. That's for sure. But I don't know. Did he not direct Your Next? No, that was Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard directed Your Next. Ty West was in Your Next. But Adam Wingard, another great director that I really enjoy. What did Ty West do? He did X, Pearl, The House of Devils, the one I'm talking about, VHS, The Innkeepers. I didn't see that. Of course, Maxine. And then he did the ABC's. Oh, it was like another anthology horror. So yeah, I like Ty West, man, and I thought that he did a good job with the X film. I Have a Dream, Ortega. No Love for the Rehearsal. I have not seen the rehearsal, so let me know what you thought about it, Oliver. I heard great things about it, but let me know, man. My mom just started watching. Hey, Oliver, help her out, bro. Tell her to turn those lights on, keep the blinds open. It's one hell of a ride. It's scary as hell, man. I love that show. Midnight Mass was so great. You talk about performances, man. Oh my gosh, it was so great. Loved it. I have not. Have you seen Yellow Jacket? No, I haven't. It's on Stars, and that's the reason why I haven't seen it. I don't have Stars. I have all the other streaming services, but I don't have Stars. But I heard it's fantastic, and the season 2 is coming out pretty soon, right? I think so. Lynn says, I just sent your link to my nephew, to a spouse. They like a lot more show. Oh, appreciate it. Hopefully I appreciate it, Lynn. Thank you for the support. Do you think Jenna can play White Tiger? That's the rumor, Tyrion. That's the rumor. I heard that she might be a part of Daredevil's new show. So yeah, man, I could see it. I can see it, man. So yeah, I hope that comes to be true, because I think she's like I said, I like her, man. I think she's a great up and coming actress. So I would love to see her in a Marvel project or a DC project, for that matter. I missed the beginning of this, so I'll check it out when I'm back. I recently finished Kendrick. I really like that. See, I know some people I didn't really like it, but I know a lot of people don't like it because it's not to me. I didn't read the book, as I said in my little short review of the film, but to me, it just missed the mark on a lot of things for me. It was an interesting premise. It just didn't really stick to landing. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you enjoyed it, Lynn. The Rehearsal brought me to tears and so many reasons. Yeah, man, I've heard Oliver. You're gonna make me have to watch this show, bro. I've heard so many great things about it. And refresh my memory, Oliver. It's a comedy drama, right? Um, give me some synopsis in the chat when you get a chance, Oliver, if you're still here. Let me go back to these movies, bro. We talked about some shows, but let's pivot back over to the movies, some of the best movies. And again, guys, go ahead and throw your suggestions in the chat, favorite movies, favorite shows that you saw in 2022, and we'll discuss it. Let me see. We talked some horror, we talked some, of course, the Batman. You guys can see my review and made my top 10 list. The Curse was a really good film that I recommend. A small horror film about werewolves. You know what? Let's take some time and talk about this film here. This was my favorite horror film of 2022, Fresh. This film, y'all, if you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. Well, first, I think they played it at some film festivals, and then they Hulu bought the rights or whatever. But man, Fresh, bro. Because I don't know if a lot of people saw this film. If you haven't, do yourself a favor. It's on Hulu. It is fantastic. As you all can see from synopsis, frustrated by scrolling dating sites only to end up on a lame Tuesday date. Our main character takes a chance on her number, awkwardly charming Steve. And yeah, meet produce section, meet cute at the grocery store. I love those words, those keywords, meet in particularly. How do I say this without giving too much away? Sebastian Stan plays the character they're referring to, Steve, and also the lead actress, who I really enjoy. She's a new face to me, but she's great in everything I've seen her in so far. Where's the cast? What is her name? These stupid ads. I gotta find her name, y'all. But she's great in this movie. Daisy Edgar Jones. She plays our main character, who, like the synopsis reads, she's going on these different dates. She's not having any luck. Dating online is definitely not a fun thing. I've done it, and it has its ups and downs. Neither here nor there. She goes on some dates. She's not having any good luck. She meets this seamlessly perfect guy, played by Sebastian Stan, who plays Steve. He's a doctor, and let's just say he has a fixation on meat. I'll just kind of leave it at that. But I highly, highly recommend you all give it a watch. It's one of those films that they literally don't give you the title card to 30 minutes into the film, because the film starts off as like this nice little rom-com, these two people falling for each other, and then boom, they have a switch up in the middle of the film, and it is a pretty crazy switch up. So if you haven't already, check out Fresh. It's on Hulu. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Now, I will warn you. Again, look at the poster, and how I was describing the film. I think you all can kind of put two and two together on what we're kind of dealing with. But if you haven't put two and two together, again, I won't spoil anything. Don't watch a trailer. Just take my word for it. Watch Fresh. It's a really great film. It's my favorite horror film of 2022. So that I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to give anything away from that film. But let me get back to the comments here. Oliver definitely recommend Rehearsal. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, man, when time allows it. Tar, yeah, you know what? We're gonna pivot over to the show, and then we'll go back to Tar, because that is a film I definitely want to talk about. Severance was still my favorite series of the year. Can't wait for season 2. Yeah, Lynn, it was one of my favorites of the year. If you all haven't seen my top 10 shows of 2022, it was definitely up there for me, and I'm very excited for season 2 for sure. What is this? Oh, okay. This is the Rehearsal. It's a social experiment comedy, kind of, sort of. Okay, cool. I like what I'm hearing here. I gotta check it out. Yeah, and I heard he's hilarious. I heard he's great in it. So yeah, I gotta check it out, man. Didn't see. And let me take this off because these stupid ads. Didn't see that many movies this year. Can't do horror. Jordan Peele is the closest I get to horror. Yeah, he's great. He's one of my favorites. And yeah, man. Jordan Peele, one of the best in the horror genre. I have him up there. James Wan, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, Jennifer Kent, just to name a few. Those are some of my favorite horror directors. I think they're really elevating the genre to me. They're some of the best, and Jordan Peele's definitely up there for sure. Baby boy saying I'm checking out Severance now. So far, interesting. I'm only 2 episodes in. Enjoy, baby boy. Enjoy, baby boy. 8603. It's a fantastic show. It's a slow burn, but it pays off. Trust me. One of the best season finales I've seen on TV in a very long time. Favorite movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Absolutely love that movie. Even the crazy hot dog figures. I love it. Yeah, that was again another film that I had on my list, top 10 list, and it was pretty high on my list to say the least. If you all check out that list, but yeah, love that movie. Um, Fire Everything. Yeah. No, it's definitely a classic. Definitely a classic. Bones and All. Yeah. We you're hitting all my notes here. You're hitting all my notes. Definitely a film I want to talk about with you all. But yeah, I was a fan of Bones and All. Luca is one of my guys. I love Luca Guadagnino. And Taylor Russell. Oh my goodness. And of course Timothy Chalamet, Mark Rylance. Really good movie. Really good movie. Yeah, Fresh. Check out Fresh. Check out Fresh, y'all. Happy New Year's, everyone. I'm late to the party. I'll start from. Oh, no worries. Replay. Shout out to the replay gang. And again, shout out to everyone. Hour and 40 something minutes in. We got 32 people watching live. I appreciate y'all. I know a lot of people are getting excited and dressed up and dolled up for some fun stuff tonight with the new year. I'm chilling at home with my homie Thor. We're gonna catch up on some movies before we wrap up the year in preparation of 2022, 2023, I should say. So I'll be at home. But for anyone going out tonight, be safe, have a good time, and again, happy New Year to you all. But again, I appreciate you all tuning in now, watching live. Just a friendly reminder to like, share, leave your comments in the live chat, and shout out to those watching the replay. I appreciate y'all. So we just talked about what the hell did I just talk about? Fresh. We talked about what's the next show we can talk about. You know what? Shout out to the Sandman. So to answer your question, yeah, I have seen it. And I have a short review on the channel about it. That as well as a little not throwaway episode, the bonus episode. But Sandman was on my top 10 list of favorite shows of this year. And let's talk about it, man. Appreciate you bringing it up because it is one of the best shows of this year. It was The Boys and Sandman are really close, but I think I'm gonna go Sandman. That was my favorite comic book show this year, because it was just so. I never read Sandman, but I know some people that have read the graphic novel and just talk about how great it was and how fantastic and game changing it was, and on all the great stories that it had. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I didn't know. And for everyone that said that had read it, said it was probably one of the most like The Watchmen or Watchmen that is pretty hard to adapt. But for everything I've spoken to, everyone said that it's pretty spot on, right? And I just love, man. I'm just thinking about episode 6, which was the episode with Dream and his sister Death. Probably one of my favorite episodes of TV this year. I'm thinking about the episode in a diner. That episode was crazy. I'm thinking about Lucifer versus Dream. I'm thinking about the visual stimulation of just going into these crazy different worlds and dimensions and not dimensions, but different the dimensions, and just the conversation. That's the thing too that's so amazing about Sandman. It didn't rely on action or these fight sequences. It was the battle of the minds, like literally. And not to get too much away, but when we get to Lucifer versus the Dream, they're not physically fighting each other, they're battling each other in their minds and just like one up each other. Oh man, it's such a great show. So many great performances. And like I said, the best episode of TV for me this year was episode 6, which was the death episode, and just seeing his sister doing her duties, collecting people when they die. So man, I'm so happy Netflix was in stupid. It didn't, because at first there was some speculation that they weren't going to renew it. I'm like, why? The numbers were there, the score, the critics loved it, had really good feedback from the audience. Why Netflix? Why? I understand it was a pretty expensive show. So, obviously at Netflix, they just spend money like it's like water, but I'm glad they renewed it. And I'm really hopeful that season 2 will be out sooner rather than later. But I understand that it could probably be next year or 2024, just due to the fact that it is such a big show visually and all that stuff. But yeah, very, very big fan of Sandman over here, my friend. And one of my favorite shows this year, no doubt about it. So thank you for that suggestion. That's another favorite one that I'm glad a lot of people Enjoy. I do not have Netflix and Amazon Prime. I was checking out my favorite actors and classics. They did not have much. I was shocked. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I don't. I have those two. Those are two of my favorite streaming services, actually. Wow, I definitely. Oh yeah, 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 for sure, Oliver. Check it out, man. Check it out. It might be, like I said, it's definitely not your stereotypical superhero because it is it does fall in that kind of that genre of comic books, but it's comic book genre, but it's very thought provoking. A lot of metaphors, a lot of monologues, but it's a fantastic show, man. Visually, it's incredible. Let's see here. Did you talk about Wakanda Forever yet? I cried so much at the end scene as well as the funeral scene. We didn't talk about it. But when the film came out, Lynn, definitely did a lot of conversations about it. I have a full, spoiler-free review on it, and I have like an hour-long spoiler review breaking down the entire film. So you can definitely check it out. Wakanda Forever didn't land on my top 10 list nor my honorable mentions. And again, you can check out those commentary I have, and I have a bunch of content on Wakanda Forever. But yeah, check it out. Check it out. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And there was, the film definitely has its emotional moments. But yeah, check out my content to see what I thought about it. Forgot about it was New Year's. Yeah, New Year. Better luck, yeah. All right, so we talked about Sandman. So let's go back over to our movie list. Let's see what other movies can we kind of gloat about, talk about, praise that maybe went under the radar. And again, I'm not gonna some of these films like the Batman. You can see my top 10 list. That was definitely on there. Everything Everywhere All at Once, one of my favorite films of the year. You can check that out. Northman was on my list. So I'm going to skip over some of the bigger titles that I saw. We talked about Top Gun Maverick. Let me see. What are some other great films that aren't getting a lot of recognition? We talked about Nope. I got a live stream on that. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I respect Nope for what it was. Gray Man, fun little action film. Lightyear went under the radar, man. I was so ashamed that film didn't get the recognition I thought it deserved. But let's talk about. We've been talking a lot about a horror, but hell, forget it, man. Let's talk more horror. Can we talk about the Black Phone for a second, man? Scott Derrickson, who director of Sinister, did he do this? I don't know if he did the second one, but I know he did the first one, which was a really great horror film. You might know Scott Derrickson from, like I said, Sinister. You might know him from Doctor Strange, the first one. He's also he did one of the Hellraiser films. Wasn't a good one, but I don't think that was his fault. I just think the story wasn't it. I think he did the one that we were in the club. I think he did. But he's a great director nonetheless. And I thought he did a fantastic job with this new film that came out last year by the name of The Black Phone. It was such a good story. More or less a really great story. And I gotta admit, man, it has some of the best kid acting I've seen in a long time. Those two kids that lead the film, the little boy and also his sister, who, if I'm being honest, she stole the movie. If I'm being 100% with you all, but they were both great. And I love that. I think his name was Finney. I love that coming of age story of him, making it out of this situation. Well, I don't want to give too much away for those who haven't seen it, but him finding himself in a situation where he gets kidnapped by Ethan Hawke's character, the Grabber, I think was what they called him. Who, by the way, the face mask and all that stuff was great. But seeing Finney going through all that, and while he's doing that, we get the supernatural situation going on with other kids that's been kidnapped, and him trying to do right by them and release their souls. And it was just such a great film. And again, the young girl who played his sister, Gwen, she was great. Her little potty mouth scenes were hilarious, but I loved it, man. It was just the tension was there, the suspense was there. They definitely build up to some of the best payoffs in the film when it comes to Finney for himself and trying to break out of this basement. And just really good, man. Just again, the writing was fantastic. The performances, I can't stress enough. Those two little kids, Finney and Gwen, and all the other kids that were, unfortunately taken by the Grabber and, he killed them. All those kids were great, especially the little boy that was Finney's friend that fended for him. I thought that he was great, but if y'all haven't seen the Black Phone, you're missing out on a gem. And I think it's been out for came out in the summer, so it should be available well, I know it's available to buy on Blu-ray or 4K, but if you're able to stream it, Amazon, do yourself a favor, man. It's one of the best, not only horror films this year, but it's definitely one of the best films in general this past year, man. Really, really recommend The Black Phone. So high praise for that for me, man. Really, really enjoyed that. But let me pivot back over here and get to the comments. Let's see. Black Adam. I haven't watched Black Adam yet, but probably will at some point. Heard mixed reviews. Yeah, Black Adam's fun. It's a throwback 90s kind of superhero show with some great visuals, some pretty cool characters from the Justice League of Society like Hawkman and Dr. Fate. And The Rock's pretty good in it. So I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah, definitely didn't get the best reviews out there, but I have fun with it. Yes, I never read the book neither, but the show was phenomenal and the costumes were great. Are you talking about the Sandman? Yeah, 100%. Green Knight was, you have a great taste in movies. That was my favorite film of 2021. Love The Green Knight. I know you reviewed The Whale. I'm looking forward to it, but I wonder if it's been overhyped. No, I think it's appropriately hyped. I think Brendan Fraser definitely lives up to the hype. He has a great performance. Sadie Sink was great. I can't think of the actress name, but Brendan Fraser's the character, his friend that was taking care of her, the caretaker, she was great. But yeah, no, I think it's appropriately hyped. It didn't make my top 10 list. But it was something that I appreciated. Again, the performances were great, and I got a full review on the channel y'all can check out. But yeah, The Whale is it's a tearjerker for sure. And again, check out my review. But one of my criticisms where it felt, and I talked about this earlier, it is adapted off of a play. The person that did the play wrote this screenplay for the film, and it's some moments that you're in one location, and if there's one scene in the second half that felt like I was watching a play, which I have nothing against plays. I love plays, but if I want to see a play, I'll go see a play. I don't want to see a play in a film. Like I want to see a movie played out like a movie. But anyway, yeah, The Whale is Brendan Fraser is great, and a lot of those performances were fantastic. Have you seen anything about the upcoming Ari Aster film, aka Disappointment Boulevard? Randomly changed the name to Beau is Afraid. Very intrigued. Yeah, Oliver. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2023. And this film that you're talking about, Oliver, might be on that list, my friend. So keep an eye out for that. But yes, I'm a big Ari Aster fan. Hereditary still gives me chills thinking about that film. Big fan of Midsommar. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for tomorrow's video because that film, Beau is Afraid, starring Joaquin Phoenix, may or may not be on that list. So keep an eye out for that video coming out tomorrow. Yeah, really good film. I agree. Let's see here. Oh, Rims in the building. What's up, Rims? Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for the super chat and the love. Rims says, Happy New Year, Elliot. Wishing a wonderful 2023 and riding with you on the other side. To 2022 was a wonderful ride, and I know we're only going up from here. One love always. Rims, you're awesome. You're great. It was a fantastic year, and I'm really excited to have people like you a part of this community. And you know what? Speaking of community, and I got to give her a call. Just a quick little side note, and we're going to get back to this comment, Rims, but it just reminded me of just love and support. I got to show y'all this, man. Shout out to another supporter of the channel. Her name's Nisi Smith. She's been a part of this community for a very long time. She sent me a package. Probably the coolest gift I've ever gotten. I'm going to put a video out to show you all, like all of it in its glory, but she sent me this blanket. And I don't know if y'all can see this, but this is really hard to do. Again, I'm going to have a video highlighting what she sent me. But as you can see, first off, there's my stupid face, but my dog, Thor, which is so cool. And then the rest of it's like all of the favorite shows that we cover on the channel, from Atlanta, the Marvel stuff. You see Euphoria. She got White Lotus, Lovecraft Country. Bring that back to TV, please. Oh man, Mayor of Easttown, Succession. This is the coolest gift, bro, I've ever gotten. And then when you look at it a little closer, it has like DC, Marvel stuff. This was the coolest gift ever, man. And then she sent me a little card in the mail. Like your boy teared up for sure. That was such a lovely gift, and I don't know if Nisi's watching or if she's gonna watch the replay, but I'm gonna give her a call because she gave me her number to call her when it came into the mail. Best gift ever. So it just brought me to, when Rims brought this up, it's so many great supporters of this channel. And I really don't want to undervalue you all, man. You mean so much to me. Every single one of you all, that whether you donate or send wonderful gifts, just liking, sharing, commenting, helping build this community just means the world to me, man. So love that gift. Love the super chat, and just appreciate all the love and support, man. And I'm really excited for 2023, man, because I got a lot of things planned for this channel. A lot of things, man. A lot of cool stuff that we accomplished this past year. Obviously growing the channel, getting, the opportunity to officially be a critic now, and getting an opportunity to be a part of the voting for, best films and all that stuff of the year. Being able to meet, people in the space, being able to be on TV. I don't know if y'all saw that, doing the news segment, which, from what I've been told is probably going to be a monthly recurrence to have that segment every month. So it was a really cool year, man. And it wouldn't have been possible without you all. So it means the world, man. Because again, someone asked me earlier if there's any great content creators that I watch, and the answer was yes. There's a lot of great people that I watch on YouTube that I admire and inspire to be, and they inspire me to continue to make content. So there's so many great content creators out there, and the fact that there are people that watch my content, support the content, still blows my mind, man. So just want to highlight you all for a great 2022, making this channel for what it is, making it what it is now, and then growing into 2023. So again, you all are awesome, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all mean the world to me. But tissues away, getting all emotional. No, but shout out to y'all. Yes, I'm looking forward to season 2 of Sandman. The lead actor they got to play Sandman was great. Yes, man. Everyone on the show was great. Every one of the show was great. Yeah, I love Sandman. 2021. Yeah, I remember because, like I said, that was my favorite film that year, and I love that. I own The Green Knight. Oh my gosh, man, that film's fantastic. I definitely been watching more series this year: White Lotus, Young Royals, Kendrick, and Severance, as you mentioned. Uncoupled, Blockbuster. I didn't watch Blockbuster. I heard it wasn't that good. Heartstopper, I heard was good. Sex Education, one of my favorites. They didn't have a new season this year, but the new season's coming out next year. I love Sex Education. So yeah, some good shows, really good shows, Lynn. We had a great year for streaming. 100%. I couldn't agree with that sentiment more. Which actually, let's go ahead and move over to some shows. I'm just looking through my list. Severance we talked about already. Atlanta, y'all know I love Atlanta. I'm gonna miss that show so much. I'm trying to think of some other shows. Is there any House of Dragon fans out there? Just curious. Any House of Dragon fans out there? We can talk about that if y'all want to. You know what? Let's talk about this show. Let's talk about Only Murderers in the Building season 2. It made my honorable mentions. It was a tough list for TV shows from this year, but it made my honorable mentions. But I love Only Murders in the Building, man. Season 2 was fantastic. As I said in my reviews, especially my season finale review, I personally preferred the killer mystery in season 1 more than season 2. But I definitely loved how season 2 grew the characters. I love the trio that we have with Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, and I'm blanking on his name, but that trio to me is just so fantastic, and I just love that we got to learn more about their backstories, more about their characters, more about their motivations, and Steve Martin, Jesus Christ. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, their chemistry, that trio to me is some of the best chemistry on TV. And listen, man, I've only seen a handful of Selena Gomez projects. Like the only thing I really think I've seen her, I didn't watch. I'm not a Disney kid as far as when her era of Disney. I didn't watch her show there. I don't even know, Wizardly Time or something like that. Correct me in the comments, but I only seen her in one other project prior to her in Only Murders, and it was Spring Break or Spring Breakers, and she was fine in it, but it was the Dave Franco show in that movie, Spring Break. But that was like the only major thing I saw her in, and I say all that to say I'm just impressed by her. in Only Murders in the Building as Mabel, because she's going toe to toe with two legends. Like I said, Steve Martin, icon. Steve Steve Martin and Martin Short, icon. Two comedic geniuses, and she's able to go and by the way, the show isn't just, if you haven't seen it, it's not like a big comedy show. It has comedy, satire comedy, but it's more of a drama. And the fact that she's able to go toe and toe with them every single episode is nothing short of spectacular, man. So if you all haven't, it's 2 seasons in. It's on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. Season 1, fantastic. Season 2, great. And season 3, very excited, especially a particular actor. It's not a spoiler, but Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd will be part of season 3, and you meet his character at the end of season 2. But very, very big fan over here of Only Murders in the Building. I would imagine, based on the trajectory of season 1 and 2, it's only about a year between the seasons, so we'll probably get season 3. Damn, I didn't even think about to put it on my top most anticipated list of next year, but damn. Anyway, I'll have a video with most anticipated shows. Unfortunately, this show isn't on there, even though you can see how much I love the show, but I forgot it's come out next year. It hasn't been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure they're going to, because season 2 came out pretty quickly after season 1. I'm going to imagine that's the same thing for season 3. But Only Murders in the Building, man, is a show that's definitely one of my favorites of 2022. And if you're not watching it, you're missing out on a fantastic show. Fantastic show. All right, so we talked about that show. Let's see here. Let's go back to the comments, because and thank you again for bringing that up, because again, it has been a great year for streaming. I imagine Scott Adkins to be the new Bond. That random, but hey, Scott Adkins is a great actor. Actually, apparently, from word on the street, is the new Bond has already been selected, and apparently it's a guy we all know, and it's a person I'm really excited for. Aaron Taylor Johnson is apparently rumored to be the new Bond. So yeah, you guys, Aaron Taylor Johnson, kick ass. He was in Tenet briefly. He was, a lot of you all might know him from Marvel. He was Quicksilver. He was in and out of that franchise. But yeah, he's apparently going to be the new James Bond. So we'll see. I had like 5 honorable mentions for TV list and barely top 10. Nice. How do I feel about Joker 2 being a musical? Hey, I'm here for it. I never wanted a Joker movie in the first place, and it was one of my favorite films of 2019. And I'm really looking forward to. Joaquin Phoenix isn't just I don't want to say a pushover, but he doesn't just do movies just to do it. He is an artist. He loves to do art, but he doesn't just do movies for the paycheck. So even though he got paid to come back for it, but I feel as though there was a good enough story and a good enough narrative for him to come back. And also Lady Gaga, man, she's someone too that has a lot of integrity. I don't think she just put her name on something just to get recognition. I think that the reason, whatever they're doing with Harley Quinn is going to be something that spoke to her. And speaking of musicals, I think that's why the film is more focusing on the musical aspects, because if you get someone like Lady Gaga, who can sing her ass off, I would imagine that element of the film is going to be pretty spectacular. So yeah, I didn't necessarily want a Joker 2, but I'm here. I'm gonna check it out, y'all. I'm gonna see what it's all about, and I'm hopeful that it's just as good, if not better, than the original one. So yeah, man. Let me know if there's any Joker fans in here, and if so, if you're excited for part 2, and excited for Harley Quinn, played by the one and only Lady Gaga. Let me know in the comments, y'all. All right, but great question. I'm looking forward to watching and discussing Last of Us with you and all other shows in 2023. Yeah. Last of Us, my favorite video game of all time, man. And the plan is to cover the show similarly to what I did with House of the Dragon, which we might do watch-alongs every week and then a discussion after the watch-along. We'll see, because I haven't heard anything back from HBO on the screeners to be able to watch them a little bit in advance and prepare like a breakdown every week. So I don't know if that's going to be something we do for that series, but definitely at the bare minimum, probably an after show for The Last of Us, because like I said, that's my favorite video game of all time. That and the Uncharted series, those are just two. Naughty Dog does both of those franchises. Great, good gaming studio. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. And a lot of, like you said, a lot of great shows to look forward to. That is too sweet. That is no, you all are too sweet. I appreciate every single one of y'all, man. So yeah, love y'all so much, man. Damn Lovecraft Country, man, Lovecraft Country, bro. How do we not renew that? Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Banshees and Inisherin. We talked about that when I was ranking the movies I saw in December, and that was definitely up there. Yeah, that blank. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, I missed the staircase. Was it? Okay? I think it was good. Yeah, that was the not Kate Blanchett, but Toni Collette, and yeah, I remember that. It's based on a true story. Yeah, Holly. Yeah, too crazy. John Lee Industry, HBO Max season 2 was good this year. Reacher, The Boys season 3, Better Call Saul, Peacemaker, Andor. Great list, John. So I didn't see Reacher, but I heard it was great. Haven't watched Industry, heard it's great, kind of like the Succession, ish vein. The Boys season 3, we talked about that earlier. Better Call Saul. Listen, John. Better Call Saul was a fantastic show. I've only watched the first season for whatever reason, because it nothing to do with the quality, because it was fantastic, but I didn't follow up with season 2, 3, 4, and 5. One day, John, because I'm a huge Breaking Bad. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. One of these days, John, I'm gonna take some time out to watch the rest of the show, because it was great, man. I don't know what happened, man. It was one of those things where just life came up, other shows, movies came up, but I do promise to get back on that bandwagon, because I heard the finale and the final wrapping up the show was great. So yeah, I'm gonna tie back. Peacemaker, yep, great show. Andor, watched the first 3 episodes, loved it, gotta finish it. But I heard it was great, man. House of Dragons, yeah. Did we just talk? What did we talk about? We just talked about a show. So we're gonna talk about I covered House of Dragons, love that show. If you saw my top 10 shows of last year, I keep saying last year, of 2022, this year, it was on that list. So yeah, I was a big fan of that show, and I can't wait for season 2. Team Black. Really enjoy it. Yeah, I gotta pick that up, man. Yeah, Steve Martin. Yeah, I was blanking on his name. Yeah, it is. I love it. Shout out to Nisi. Yeah, thank y'all. I was blanking out. Steve Martin, man, legend. I can't tell you how you. Yeah, very, very excited for season 2. Cannot wait. White Lotus is good too. And the rehearsal. Yeah, someone was Oliver was talking about rehearsal earlier. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. What We Do in the Shadows was funny. Yes, great show too. Some really great shows. Yep, Barry. Yep, Barry was on my list. David, if you guys saw my again top 10, this little shameless plug put out a couple days ago. Barry season 3 was on my list, and season 4 cannot wait, bro. Cannot wait. Isn't Aaron Jones supposed to be? Yeah, he is Craven. But apparently, I have some friends of mine, or one in particular that's a big James Bond fan. They're in the industry, and they dropped a nugget a couple weeks ago about the rumor that might be true, that Aaron Taylor Johnson is the next Bond, and I can see it, man. And again, if y'all don't know who I'm referring to, like I said, he's going to be Craven. He was also a Bullet Train. I forgot about that. But yeah, the rumor is that this fellow here is going to be the next Bond, which I think is actually kind of perfect, man. He's the appropriate age. He's 32, so he's young. The man is action. Has the resume to be in action. So yeah, man, I can see it. He's British, which is like the thing that you got to be British to be Bond. So yeah, man, and if you followed his career, from Kick-Ass to now potentially being Bond, and if you haven't seen Bullet Train, which is on Netflix, by the way, he can carry his own when it comes to action, man. He's a great leading man, and he got bulked up, man. Number one, he got bulked up for probably playing Craven, and he, like Tyrion mentioned, he will be playing Craven. But yeah, the rumor is there's a little mock photo. I can see it, man. I can see it. And yeah, you can see it as a title. The surprise front runner is him as Bond. So I like it. I like it a lot, man. Shout out to if this is the case, I would love to see it. I would love to see it, y'all. And random, but also got Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, two similar names. And I think she says it's Anya. Anya, because I say Anya, but Anya Taylor-Joy. Names mixed up because of the initials. Yeah, both British, both great actors too. Both great. I heard some critics got screeners already. Yeah, they did. I was not one of them, but whatever. I take what I can get, and hopefully, I'll send another email, see if I can get the screeners. But if not, I'll still watch it because I'm really excited for it. I'm curious to how Amazon is going to do God of War. That's another one of my favorite games. Yeah, apparently, and I haven't played the newer iteration of the games, but apparently, I think that they said the series is going to be based on the 2018 and up. So yeah. Disco Ball, what up? What else? Yeah. Succession, man, season 4. Like I said, guys, it's another little shameless plug. But tomorrow afternoon, I'm gonna have my top 10 most anticipated movies, and then later in the week, I'm gonna have my most anticipated shows. And you best believe Succession, the Roy, that family, the Roy family, will be on that list for season 4. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, Her From was great. Yellow Jackets, some good shows y'all recommended. I can see I can see Aaron being Bond. Just surprised he didn't pick. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Rem. Because like I said, I know when it comes to them casting Bond, they wanted someone in their early 30s. Because if you follow the Bond franchise, Daniel Craig, for example, those films take at least 4 years between the two films. So by the time you get Daniel or get the great Henry Cavill. Shout out to Superman. By the time they get that in production, he's in his early 40s. By the time they get to the second one, he's in his mid 40s, close to his 50s. So to me, I think the age kind of broke. And by no means am I saying being 39 is older, but in that Hollywood world and in that portrayal of James Bond, if you want someone to play Bond for the next 3 or 4 films like they did with Daniel Craig, you're gonna want someone a little bit younger. And so yeah, I think that goes to it. And also too, this might be weird to say, but I think Henry Cavill's like too big, like too bulky to play Bond. Not to say he couldn't like slim down, but I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is the perfect like look, like aesthetically, and from just not as big and bulky as my man Henry is. So I think it's a great choice. But if Henry was cast, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But I think Aaron Taylor is a much better fit in my eyes. Kick ass to Bond's man. Yeah, if it's to be true, which like I said, from my sources, I hear it is true. So yeah, we'll probably be hearing an announcement probably sometime in 2023. Yeah, Bullet Train was great. I had a good time with that film. Really good time. Still haven't seen. Yeah, like I saw the first 3 episodes and I was very fascinated by it. I gotta finish it. Gen Z, yeah, that's Gen V. I'm sorry, I said Gen Z. Gen V, the boys spinoffs coming out next year. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with that. Really good premise. It's the whole idea of like the Supes when them going to college and learning how to be a superhero and all that stuff. And I would imagine it's going to be cameos galore with that show. Some hidden gems between the client terminal list and Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't even know what that. Terminal list is Chris Pratt, and then Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't know what that is. So cool. Nice. I'll be there for they'll be coming out the movies tomorrow, and then probably Tuesday is the shows. This was season 2. Yeah, it is. I saw the article the other day. It's coming out next year. What's up, Tony? How we doing, man? Happy New Year to you, bro. Have you thought about doing review like which shows, movies for 2022? Have you thought about a review like which shows, movies from 2022 anticipated turn out? I don't know. I might be reading that wrong. But I do have a 20. Wait, are you saying like doing like looking back at the shows I was anticipated for the past year and see how? I don't know. Let me know. I might be completely butchering what you're trying to get at, but let me know. Rephrase that maybe. Jonathan, will you be watching like any of the award shows happening in the next 2-3 months? I know some people don't watch them and some people do. Which ones are you referring to, John? Yeah, because I try to watch as many shows as possible. Especially the big shows. So most likely I'll be watching some of the more award focus shows coming out soon. But if there's one in particular, let me know in the chat. Tony's, yeah, I don't say I avoided it, but I haven't made too many videos because if you all don't know, if you've been following me for a while, I'm a huge DC fan. I love DC. It's when I was grown up with DC characters. Batman's my favorite comic book character, of all time. When the news was coming out, I just watched. I was sitting on the sideline like, yep, Henry Cavill no longer Superman. Okay, that sucks. I'm gonna cry in a corner. Gal Gadot, her name has been out there. So maybe not coming back. But what I was gonna do, Tony, to answer your question, I was gonna wait until they release the slate of films for 2023, which apparently James is gonna say we're gonna get that slate at the beginning of the year, probably sometime in January. So I was gonna make I was gonna do a stream to discuss all my thoughts. But to answer your question, the completely rebooting the entire DCU. And what do you want to see for the future? Again, long-winded because I love DC, but I am on board with it. It sucks that we get to lose some of these incredible actors. And, again, Henry Cavill, if you all don't know, he's my favorite Superman, bar none. Love Christopher Reeves and all the different iterations, but Henry Cavill was my favorite Superman. That really hurt. And then if rumors are to be true about Gal Gadot, that's going to hurt even more because I'm a big fan of her in that role. The Ben Affleck one that writing was on the wall years ago. So that one, don't get me wrong, I love Ben Affleck as Batman, but I was okay with all that. Of course, Ezra Miller, we know he was going to come back. Aquaman as Lobo, whatever, the case may be there. So I was on board with the reboot because I understand the got to start fresh, man. They want to tell their own stories and tell their own universes built the ground up. So I'm okay with it, man. And I'm rooting for him, man. Hopefully we can get a DC universe properly orchestrated. We can get some plans in motion. We can follow through with those plans and give us some great DC content. Because again, I say this a lot, and I really mean this. I love Marvel. I love the MCU. But I'm telling y'all right now, if and when DC gets their stuff together, it will be epic. Because these, in my personal, humble opinion, DC characters are far more interesting to me than Marvel characters. And no slight towards the Spider-Man and X-Men and, all the fantastic characters that are in the Marvel cinematic, or not even the MCU, but just Marvel in general, like the comics, great characters. But to me, they don't hold a candle to the DC characters. So once and when James Gunn and Peter Safran get their pieces to the puzzle of this 10-year plan, people are going to really see what DC's all about. At least I'm hopeful. One can only hope. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what they have in store. And a little tidbit, I'm just going to only let y'all know because, y'all part of the community and I love y'all. Your boy may or may not have seen a future. This is just like a little nugget for you all. I got a test screening to a big movie that's come out in a few months that I can't talk about. That's as much as I can say. That I'm really excited to share with you all that announcement when the time comes. But yeah, man, I'm very hopeful that the DC universe can get their stuff together. I'm interested in Dungeons and Dragons movie. Yeah, it looks fun. Really cool cast. I like the trailer. If you could cast actors in next White Lotus, Knives Out, that's a big question, John. White Lotus, let's see. White Lotus. I mean, there's so many great actors. I mean, I had a list. I can't remember, but off the top, I think I had like Lakeith Stanfield, Regina King. I had like a list, but yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, Regina King. I would like to see. I don't know, Michael Shannon. Oh man, Daniel Kaluuya maybe. I'm just thinking of some great actors that have the time to shoot TV. I mean, this is so because I would have never put together a season 1 or 2. So those are just some names that come to mind. And then Knives Out 2, oh my goodness, Keke Palmer comes to mind. I would love to see her in the Knives Out franchise. Who doesn't do enough comedy, who I think has some great comedic chops? Viola Davis. I would love to see a Viola Davis in a Knives Out murder mystery. Let's see, Knives Out. I'm just trying to think of like characters from 1 and 2 and some other actors that it would never happen, but a Denzel Washington never happened. Or could it? I don't know. I'm thinking of Ryan Johnson, who's worked with in the past. I would love to see a John Boyega make an appearance in the Knives Out film. Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac would be cool to see a Knives Out sequel. I'm trying to think. One more. Left field actor in a Knives Out. I don't know. That's a good enough list. Hopefully, some of those things come true. Indie Spirit Choice Oscars. You talking about yeah. Like I said, I plan on I covered 30, 40 films in the last couple months with the Oscar stuff. So for TV shows, I think was your question. Yeah, I always try to keep an eye out for the award-winning shows. So yeah, for sure. Just got here. Did we already talk about Everywhere? Yeah, we did a couple times, and we didn't really lean too much into it because it was on my it was one of my favorite films of the year. So, but yeah, much love for Everything Everywhere All at Once over here for sure. How did I find? Don't worry. So I did a review on it. You can check it out on the channel. Just Google MovieFiles. Don't worry, darling. It was fine. It had a lot of potential. I think kind of it didn't stick the landing for me, especially when you get the little twist. I thought the third act was the weakest element in the film, but the build up, the suspense, the mystery was good. But I just thought that the landing, they didn't stick the landing. For me, performance-wise, Florence Pugh, great. Florence Pugh and Chris Pine carried that film for me because everyone else, and I'm not even bashing Henry Styles. I don't think he got enough to really work with, but to me, they carried their performances throughout the narrative, but everyone else just didn't match their level of gravitas to me. So, but it was an okay film. It had a lot of great ideas, but again, to me, the ending to me didn't work. I didn't really like the ending that much at all. Let's see. Let's see. Don't worry, darling. Not a potential. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of potential, but didn't really stick the landing for me. Let's see. I think somewhere January is releasing this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm gonna do like probably a live stream, to be honest with you all, because I can talk DC all day, and we'll probably do something like that when those announcements come to be. And I'm at least satisfied and content that Zack Snyder DC trilogy, just with Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder Justice League, and plus he got great stuff. Yeah, for sure. I agree. Very looking forward to Rebel Moon. I think is the name of his next film, next project. I just got Don't Really Know on Blu-ray last week, and I plan on give it a watch, Tony. I mean, obviously you bought it, but definitely give it a watch, man. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts on it. Like I said, I enjoyed most of the film, but it didn't really stick the landing for me. So I think the last thing we talked about was TV shows. So let's go back to our movie list, and then we're gonna we'll go a little bit longer. Again, it's the end of the year. We're having fun. We're talking about our favorite movies and shows, and I hope you all are having a good time. And again, I appreciate y'all showing your boy some love. If you can, thumbs up, share, and let's keep this chat going. Let's see, movies. Man, some gems here. Bullet Train, I talked about it briefly. Really enjoyed that. Prey. Can we talk about Prey? I guess let's talk about Prey, guys. This film to me just Dan Trachtenberg. He did what was it? It was the sequel to Cloverfield. Which, just on that note, I wish they didn't do that with his film because it was so great up until that reveal. I can't even think of the name of that film. But anyway, David Trachtenberg, what he did with Prey was he answered my prayers, which was bringing this franchise, which if I'm being honest with you all, I think Predator is like so overrated. Not the first one, I'm talking about just Predator as a franchise. I think it has, the first one's a classic, no doubt about it. 2 with Danny Glover is fine. It's fine to me. 10 Cloverfield Lane is the name of the film I was thinking of with Dan. But the third one, Predator is okay, or Predators. I think it was Predators is the one I'm thinking of with Adrian Brody when they went to the planet. That one was okay. And then the Blaine, my man Black, Shane Black, the one that he did, Predators or The Predator. I can't remember. There's so many, these names are getting ridiculous. The last one before this one was terrible. But Prey, taking it back to the 1700s and just hand-to-hand primal survival skills. And what is her name? Amber Midthunder. wow. Dakota Beavers, who played her brother, incredible. And then the actual Predator, it took it back to, again, just the throwback, kill, fierce, unstoppable force of nature, man. And man, the hunting, the survival tactics, the strategies, and again, the little dog. We talked about some other animals earlier in the stream. Shout out to Jenny from the Banshees and Sharon, EO, that donkey from that movie. But the dog in this film was fantastic. I love Prey. Like, when I saw the film, I had saw it a little bit later than everyone else. Like, I know they premiered it at Comic-Con, and a lot of good things were said about that when it was playing there. And then when it, I think they played it in the theaters for like a week. I didn't see it out here, but man, when I got a chance to see that film, I really wish, this is one of those films that I really wish I could have saw in theaters, because it would have been a great experience. But it just goes to show, saw it at home. I have a decent, home setup here, but the story, man, carried it and matched with some great visuals, matched with some great intensity moments. So Prey, man, was a fantastic film for me. One of the surprising hits for me this year. And I really do hope and pray that we get a continuation of this franchise. Seriously, I really do hope that we get a continuation. Sure, I would love Amber to come back. I doubt that will happen, but I would love for them to continue this idea of like different eras, different cultures, samurais, different things of that nature, and just going ham. Go ham with it. Go crazy with it. I'm here for it. And bring, if you don't bring Amber back, bring back Dan Trachtenberg, because I thought he did a great job. So shout out to Prey. Shout out to Prey. You didn't review Guillermo's Pinocchio unless I missed a short. I did. Yeah, you did. You missed it. I love that film. It's fantastic. It was this might be a hot take, man, but I think that the Guillermo's Pinocchio is better than the original. Goddamn. Did he say that? I think I did. No disrespect to the original. It's a classic. It's a Disney classic. But I don't know. I just really thought that the new one was just so great, man. And the way that they tied in the story, the visuals. Can we take a moment to show some appreciation to stop motion animators? Like, that is the most tedious thing ever. Just to get one shot takes like 4 hours, man. And not even one, I'm talking about like one frame of a motion of a character. It takes so meticulous. But yes, I did review it, as you can see here. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And so you can check out my, like, it's only a minute, but you see my score and get a couple more of my thoughts, what worked, what didn't work in that minute frame. But really enjoyed it, man. Really enjoyed it. One of my favorites of last year. It made my most honorable mentions list. But yeah, really enjoyed it, man. Really big fan of Guillermo. And you talk about passion, man. Whenever that man does a passion project, which 99% of his films are passion projects. Like, he doesn't just do films for a paycheck. He puts his heart and soul in everything he works on, and it shows in Pinocchio. That last 10 minutes of that film tore me up. Your boy was getting emotional, man. That film, and it really explored Geppetto's different side of Geppetto, right? Seeing the pain, the torture that he went through. Yeah, to answer your question, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, you can check out my short. Like I said, it's on, a little shameless plug. You can check it out. Just get my quick thoughts on it. But yeah, big fan of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I heard they are making a sequel to R. Yeah, I did a little short on that. Yeah, they are making a sequel to it. At least that's what the director said a couple weeks ago, and Variety did a news article on it. But yeah, what do I think? Yes, please. If I can, I will see that in theaters opening night. I didn't get to see RRR in theaters, so if the opportunity comes to see the sequel in theaters, you best believe I'm going to be there day one. So very excited for it, for that sequel. True, Predator 87 and 2010. Yeah, thank you. Predators was the one I was thinking of, Adrian Brody. Though that one was the best sequel to me. And then this up until Prey, that was the best sequel. And then Prey came out, and that's the best one to me. really enjoy Prey a lot. Prey watched all this thing. It did. Like, seriously, Kenny, it really did, man. It really did. Honestly. Prey was actually definitely my third favorite Predator franchise, and it's coming from someone who actually liked the show. Tony, you're my homie, Tony, but shout out to Tony, man. I didn't. That Shane Black one was rough. Was rough for me, man. I'm hoping maybe they do a physical media. Oh, they didn't do a really. Well, I guess yeah, because it's on Hulu. Man, that's stupid, bro. Yeah, they gotta have. Come on, you gotta get that on Blu-ray. You gotta get that on Blu-ray release, man. I would buy it for sure. To me, James Gunn isn't getting anything off the ground. Gunn only has a 4-year contract this year and is only trying to get off what already is in the pipeline. So that 1 year loss, 3 year left. I would imagine they're going to re-up that contract. I see what you mean, but I would imagine they're going to re-up the contract to get him, because obviously, as you just mentioned, 1 year is already, 2023 is, I don't want to say a wash, but, obviously 2023 already has a slate of films. So 2024 is when he can really, him and Peter can do their thing. But, I would imagine they're going to renew his contract. And I'm hopeful, man. Like I said, I'm a DC fan. I'm really hopeful that we get some great DC stuff. What about animated films? Shout out to Lynn. Shout out to animation. Didn't see Turning Red, but I talked about it earlier. Apollo 10.5 was one of my favorite animated films this year. Add Pinocchio to that list, add Lightyear to that list. And then my favorite animated film this year was Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. So, yeah, those are I didn't see a ton of animated films this year, but those are my top. I'm trying to look through my list here. Those are my top ones. But, shout out to animation, man. I love a good animated film. And like I said, I didn't see a lot. I missed the Turning Red, and I also missed, there was a couple ones on Netflix that I heard was good. I can't even think. It was something about a dragon in the water, something like that. But it was created by the same people that did Moana and a couple other animated films. So yeah, those are my favorites. Again, Marcel the Shell is my favorite. Pinocchio, Lightyear, and Apollo 10.5. Those are my favorite animated films. So, but yeah, shout out to animation, man. Some great animated stuff out there. All right, so we talked about Prey. What other shows can we talk about? Again, I did a list, and I'm trying to, Severance, obviously, Atlanta. We talked about The Boys. We talked about Winning Time. We talked about Sandman. Was there any other shows that we that was maybe underappreciated or maybe not talked about? We talked about White Lotus. Was there any other shows? We briefly talked about Wednesday, mostly General Take. We talked about 1899 briefly. What other shows came out this year that really, we talked about The Midnight Club, House of the Dragon, fantastic. Love that. Team Black. We talked briefly about Andor. Any shows, guys, you guys want to briefly talk about or recommend or to let everyone know? We talked about Early Morning. We talked about a lot of shows, actually. Only Murders in the Building. Was there anything on Netflix besides Sandman? Oh my gosh. Any Stranger Things fans out there? Any Stranger Things fans out there? Because if not, I'm going to talk about Stranger Things right quick. Which was another show that made my top 10 list. I loved this most recent season. So much so that I was damn near on the fence about which season I liked more. Season 1 or season 4. It is that close to me. I think ultimately I'm still go with season 1, but it's just very, very right there. It's like right there for me. I think the most recent season of Stranger Things was some of the best TV I've seen all year. Man, Vecna, it's time. What a great villain. What a great reveal. I didn't see that coming. I think if you see my review for Stranger Things, I kind of caught a little bit of Vecna being Henry/1 a little bit before the reveal. And I think it was because of how Henry came into the picture with the throwbacks. I'm like, wait a minute. This is kind of odd. This guy's randomly coming out of nowhere. Why did we never hear of him? So it kind of caught my eye there. But there was still a great reveal. Great villain, probably one of the best villains this year up there with Homelander and a couple other great villains that we got on TV. But then the performances to me from everyone, but in particularly Millie Bobby Brown as 11, thought she was great. This is probably her best performance in a role, and she's been great on the show the entire time. But this was her best performance as 11 this past season. Sadie Sink Sadie freaking Sink as Max Mayfield. Running up that hill, man. Episode 4, saying goodbye to Billy, I think was the name of the episode. What a great moment. Also my young man, Caleb, who plays Lucas, really fantastic this past season. Really loved his arc. And Hopper, man, Jim, my guy, he was great. His whole thing, and out of all the plots, I would say, obviously Hawkins was number one. That was the best plot, and then the Russian plot was my second favorite, and then the California crew with Will and Mike was a little lackluster at points. It had its highs, but it also had its lows. But neither here nor there. I thought Jim, his whole coming to realization, not giving up, fighting, and all that stuff, it was great, man. 2 hours for season the second to last episode, and like 2.5 hours for the finale. It was worth it, man. A 3-year hiatus, they came back with a bang, man. They came back letting everyone know that they're still one of the best TV shows out there, man. I love the most recent season of Stranger Things, man. It's definitely high on my list. Very excited for season 5. The other day I read Noah Schnapp, I think that's how you pronounce that name. The guy that plays the kid that plays Will. He said that the Duffer Brothers are definitely gonna make Will important, which I think is needed for the finale, because he was the one that started off, right? And people have been coming at Noah. People, say he's not a good actor. I urge people to remember his season 1 as Will Byers, and I also urge people, which I know is not a lot of people's favorite season, but I enjoy season 2 more than most. He carried a lot of the emotional moments in season 2 when he was possessed by the shadow monster, man. He's a good actor, man. I think he still has, the show hasn't allowed him to branch off to really show his acting chops since season 2. But I'm excited to see what they do with Will in season 5. And it ain't gonna happen, but if Netflix can get their head out their butts and do a week-to-week release, to me, that would be the best thing they can do. I know we love our binging and watching everything at once, but I would love if they can do a week-to-week release for the new season. I just think it would be smart. Me personally, just me. But anyway, that is one of my favorite shows for sure. Let's see. Sorry, I missed. Oh, no worries, man. Like I said, man, hey, I put out a lot of content, man. I know it's hard to keep up, but yeah, Pinocchio was definitely on my list. Also HBO Max is losing money left and right, which is why HBO's cutting shows in their streaming service so they can sell. They've been cutting a lot of bait for sure. What would your Justice League lineup for a new movie be? Oh, I mean, the obvious answer, the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, obviously, Cyborg, the OGs, Aquaman, Green Lantern, please. Can we get a Green Lantern in the joint? Which I know Zack Snyder was going to eventually do, but never got the chance to do so. And then Martian the Manhunter, I think would be a great, like I said, the OGs. If you watched like the Justice League Unlimited series, a lot of those OGs would be my lineup. So, but for sure, you can't have you can, but I would prefer to have, the classics to be a part of it. Let's see. Warner just wants Gunn to take the hit for Ken. No, I think there's a lot more to him being hired than just being the face for negative publicity. Like, he has a plan. I think they're gonna follow through with it. It's a fit with the description and stuff. Yeah, it didn't really work for me, but I know for some people like yourself it worked, but I wish it would just stuck to its own narrative and then connect to that world. If you don't believe me, Warner Brothers has a 5-year contract with J.J. Abrams, and he hasn't released anything. Yeah, but that's much different than the James Gunn. Like, JJ wasn't the head of a company or the head of the division or the department. He was he just had an exclusive rights deal, but they gave him whenever he had a project in works, they had first right refusal. He just never, unfortunately, which, if I'm being honest with you, J.J. Abrams, he's good in some things, but I was okay with him not getting anything off the ground, because I don't think he's he has great stuff in his filmography, both on TV and film. But yeah, I'm okay with that contract falling through. Yeah, he got paid though. He got paid, man. Cloverfield. Yeah, man. And didn't I read somewhere they're gonna do another Cloverfield? I'm like, it's gonna be a sequel to the first one. Yeah. Did you end up? I haven't seen Al, and I have a Roku. Literally, it's on my Roku all the time. I haven't watched it though, but I heard it's great. What did you think of Violent Night? I love the ultra violent action film. Yeah, me too, man. I had a fun time with Violent Night. I did a full review on that one actually on the channel. But yeah, I had fun with it. It was some great homages to Home Alone, which I love that sequence, and then some great bloody violence, like you mentioned. But yeah, it was a fun time. Multiverse of Madness, favorite film. Oh, that's your favorite film too. Oh, that's what's up, man. I had a fun time with that movie for sure. Wanda all day, baby. Wanda. Still working on some 2020 reviews, catch up, but I have my top 30. Nice, locked. But the video won't be out. Well, that's what's up, Josh. Make sure to let me know when that drops, man. If I can check out your top 30. That's awesome, bro. Yeah, Stranger Things was great. All of Us Are Dead, another great, good call, man. Good show. I don't know if that show, I think internationally it did really good. I think there's a season 2 in the works, but yeah, I had fun with that. I'm a big zombie fan, and I thought that the zombie lore that they had in there was pretty interesting. And I really enjoyed those characters in that show. So yeah, All of Us Are Dead was a really good show. And like I said, I think season 2 is announced, which if you've seen the show, it definitely opens itself up for season 2. Len says, I watched season 1 and 2 of Stranger Things, but kind of lost steam with the series. I've heard great things about Len, listen, watch season 4. Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Watch season 4. Definitely see season 3 before season 4 because there's definitely some connective tissues to that from one season to the next. But yeah, catch up, Lynn. You're gonna be happy you did. Ozark, Marty Berg. Yeah, man, we got the finale of that this past 2022. Great show. Man, that finale, bro. Man, R.I.P. Right? Yeah, I love Ozark. It was a good conclusion. I know some people didn't like the finale, but I loved it. I love the last shot of the show. But yeah, Ozark was one of my favorite shows, man. It was in the shadow of Breaking Bad for a while, but I think it created its own lane after that second season and onward. And yeah, man, Wendy and Marty Bird and the Bird family, man. Great show. Season 4 made me rewatch entire. Yeah, man, it's one of those. That's how great it was for sure. Love that show. Are you into Chucky or Interview with a Vampire? Season of Chucky was this year and much better than. Oh, nice. To answer your first question, I am into both of those IPs. I just haven't watched any of the shows, unfortunately. I don't have USA, but I know you can stream it somewhere, so no excuse there. But yeah, I haven't seen any one of those, and I actually heard from some people that love Chucky that season 1 was better than season 2. But nonetheless, I heard it's a lot better than people were anticipating, as far as based on the sequels of Chucky in the last few years. So yeah, and I heard Interview with the Vampire is great. So yeah. Let's see here. I feel like the only person that watched The Man Fell to Earth, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Naomi Harris. Yeah, I heard it was. Yeah, I didn't really. I was just say I heard. I can't think of anything. I don't know if I heard anything about it, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, definitely watch it, Lynn. It's a great show. It's like I said, a lot of people compare it to Breaking Bad, but it does have its comparisons. But I think it has its own thing to say. So yeah. Ooh, I disagree, my friend, but respectfully, I disagree. Yeah, I enjoyed the wrap up of Ozark for sure. What does it say here? Stranger Things getting too many characters, needs to kill them off. Well, the next season's the last one, and I think we're gonna lose a couple characters. The Stand, was that this year? That was last year, right? What a cast, right? The show had both Amber Heard and Ezra Miller at the same damn time. Let's see here. I know it pissed off a lot of people, but I actually liked the Mandalorian twist. Oh, the Mandalorian, the Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3. I thought it was pretty funny and reveal. Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't like Trevor either. Let's see here. Casey, what's going on? Found your videos from Atlanta season 3, and I really enjoy your videos. Thank you. Best movie this year for me is The Batman, and TV is one of the best shows. Better Call Saul. Yeah, like I said earlier, I got to catch up with Better Call Saul. Really enjoyed the first season, but thank you so much for watching those Atlanta videos, man. I'm gonna miss that show, but I had such a good time covering the show this past year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also The Batman. Yeah, it's one of my favorites this year too. Your Bear. Yeah, I love the bro. I didn't do a review on it because I literally just watched it last month. Oh, I didn't. Oh my gosh, I didn't put The Bear. I watched The Bear last month. I didn't put that on my list. Really enjoyed that show. It made my top list. If you guys check out my top 10 shows, it did make my list, and I'm very excited for season 2 of that show. Loved it. Terminal, The Summer. Yeah, someone mentioned those shows. Jack Ryan, I haven't called, but here she is, Nisi. I know. I don't know if you were just turning in, but I did a shout out to you earlier. I wanted to call you or text you today. I got your package. Very appreciative of it. I shot like a little video, like a little thank you video that I'm gonna be putting together here shortly. But thank you, guys. Like I said, I talked about it earlier. This is the person I was referring to. Nisi sent me the best gift of all time, and thank you so much. I love it so much. So appreciative. Love the letter. Your boy got emotional, and I really appreciate you. So again, guys, put a heart in the chat for Nisi, man. She shows a lot of love to this channel and sent me that great gift that I absolutely adore. So thank you, Nisi. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year to you and to your family. Hope you're having a great holiday season, and really appreciate that gift. Really, really awesome. Best gift ever. How we get more movies and shows from games? Oh, okay, games. Mass Effect, Dishonor, I think BioShock is in the works, right? Let's see, the BioShock or Mass Effect. One of those were are in the works. But yeah, more games to shows, 100% versus the movies. Like again, I love The Last of Us as a show versus a movie. I love that God of War is going to be a show versus a movie. I really wish they would have did Uncharted as a TV show and exploring Nathan Drake in that format, but obviously they didn't. But yeah, I definitely agree that movies in the video game genre hasn't been that great because it's just so hard to flesh out a universe in 2 hours versus a show. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I love that. People forget Shane Black tends to be a very bold writer and director. He's someone that takes risk and bold chances on his movies, especially Iron Man 3 and Predator, which I got to admire. Yeah, he's a great writer, man. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a lot of his writing sensibilities. I think he's a better writer than he is a director. But yeah, The Nice Guys. I love The Nice Guys. I love a lot of his throwback movies. Didn't he do one of those Hollywood murder movies? Not Hollywood murder, but Jesus, it was like something about Hollywood with Kevin Costner and Kim Basinger. What is that name? No, what am I thinking of? Thinking of something else. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's probably my favorite Shane Black film, followed up by The Nice Guys. He really hasn't directed that many films. For some reason, I thought he directed like 4 or 5 films, but he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 2005. Great Sam Jackson movie. Iron Man 3, not a big fan. Love The Nice Guys. Actually, I think Nice Guys is my favorite Shane Black film. And then I didn't like The Predator. So, yeah, like I said, I think he's a better writer than director. Lethal Weapon, he wrote that. The Monster Squad, he wrote that. I haven't seen The Last Boy Scout. Last Action Hero, that's like a guilty pleasure film of mine. Long Kiss Goodnight, he wrote that, another Sam Jackson film. So yeah, like I said, I think he's just a better writer than director than me. But Nice Guys is fantastic. I love Nice Guys. I love that you love him, Tony. Oh yeah, show some love to Nisi. Yeah, thank you, Nisi. Love it. Best gift ever. Thank you. Reservation Dogs and This Fool deserve more hype. They are so funny. Yeah, man, I gotta catch up. I gotta watch Reservation Dogs. I heard it's a fantastic show, and I just haven't had time to watch it, but I heard it's great. And then This Fool deserve. I don't know what that is. Is This Fool, or is it This Fool Deserves Love? This Fool. What is that? Is that Hulu? Oh, okay. Oh yeah. No, I know what this is. Yeah, This Fool. Yeah, and it plays into this Fool. Yeah. I heard good things about it. That's what's up. I gotta check those out. Reservation Dogs and This Fool. I heard great things about it. Yeah, showing some love to Nisi. Thank you, thank you. Like I said, this is the greatest gift of all time. And then your letter was just the icing on the cake. Just talking about, appreciating the content and all the great shows we've broke down. So yeah, this was great. So yeah, shout out to Nisi, y'all. Shout out to her. Do you make your living in movie industry, or do you also have a day job and save creative stuff for a hobby? Great question. So do I don't I guess I mean I do the YouTube. I get the AdSense and stuff like that, and of course super chats and all that stuff. So I guess I make uh, money off of this, I guess, if you want to phrase it that way. But to answer your other question, I do have I'm a full time job as a real estate agent. But the goal is in 2023 to make this a full time job, referring to film criticism, all that stuff. So yeah, and if you followed the channel this past, well, for forever, but in particularly this past year, you definitely can see the I was always consistent, but this year more than any, very much more, 4, 5, 6 videos sometimes a week. So I definitely tried to pivot over to making this more of a reality of a full-time opportunity. So hopefully by this time next year, this will be the full-time job. Is focusing on this. So, but yeah, great question. Love you guys back. Macy. MVP. Yep. I was gonna say Kevin. Yep. Macy's the MVP for sure, for sure. Shout out to her. Still freak out. Shane Black was in the Predator. Yeah, he was in the first one. Yeah. Yeah. But we are rounding out, man. We're approaching 3 hours, which is doesn't surprise me because we have a lot of fun over here every time we go live. And that's another thing I would love to do in 2023 is and to be fair to myself, because I want to say I want to do more lives. We did a lot of lives this past year. Not only lives like this, we previewed all the new movies every month. Most of those were live streams. But my favorite lives this past year was the series breakdowns that we did live. The after shows for Atlanta, after shows for freaking House of the Dragon. What else do we do after show for? It's a couple the White Lotus. So that is something I plan to do more often, is to do more live streams in conjunction with Lynn, thank you so much. Linda sent me a super chat, guys. So thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate that. Again, I appreciate all you guys' support, whether it's financially, awesome gifts like Nisi did, or even the likes, the shares, the comments, all that stuff means the world to me, man. So you guys are awesome. But thank you so much, Lynn. But yeah, 2023, I do want to do more of the streaming content. Again, more after shows, more discussion pieces for like movies. I really have a good time when we do those spoiler discussions amongst other collabs that we've done. So more stream in 2023 as we're wrapping this video up. What to expect this new year. More streaming content as far as live streams. Of course, the traditional breakdown videos, expect a lot more of those. Of course, for more TV shows, more movie reviews. Definitely having fun with the YouTube shorts, man. I know it's hard to keep up with some of the shorts because it's just like so much content out there, but I'm having fun with YouTube shorts. It allows me to sometimes, if I don't have time, to shoot a full review, to get out my thoughts pretty quickly and easily with those shorts. And other things I do with the YouTube shorts, movie news, TV news, predictions, theories. So definitely going to do more of that come 2023. So keep an eye out for more of those. As I mentioned earlier, the news segment that I was able to be a part of, I hope to do that monthly. So keep an eye out for my face on TV come next year, every month. And yeah, man, just continue to grow and just tossing that energy to you all. I really hope that every single one of y'all watching live or watching the replay have a fantastic 2023, man. For whatever you do, work, your life, your work life, I mean, and your, focusing on you this year, man. Make this year the best year ever for all of us out there, man. Be safe. continue to grow as people. Do something nice for someone every day if you can, and just have a great year, man. I'm really excited for this new year, 2023, y'all. 2023. I remember being a kid and watching movies, and it'd be like, in the year 2020, in the year 2023. It's like, that seems so far, Mom. That seems like so fake. And here we are, 2023, man. God damn. But no, it's gonna be a great year, man. I'm really excited for it, and I really am excited for this channel come next year, man. And I'm excited to go on this journey with you all and just keep building this thing out, y'all. Building it out and doing some great things. But wrapping it up, man. Let's get to these final comments, and I'm gonna get me something to eat. And I got like I said, like 6 or 7 more movies I want to watch. I'm not doing anything for New Year's, so I'm gonna be me and the Thor. I'm gonna be watching some movies today. And I gotta edit a couple videos too. While I'm on that note, before I get to these comments, just keep an eye out for tomorrow. I'm going to have a review for Kaleidoscope, the new Netflix series, starring Giancarlo Esposito. So keep an eye out for that. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to have my most anticipated films coming out tomorrow. And then throughout the week, like I just mentioned, shorts. I have a bunch of like short form content, most anticipated horror films, most anticipated comic book films, a bunch of like shorts that I shot yesterday. So keep an eye out for that. And then I'm going to have my most anticipated TV shows releasing Tuesday, probably Tuesday. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. And then gearing up for the month of January, we got shows like Servant, the final season for that. So I'm going to be covering that final season because I covered all the other 3 seasons, and I'm a big fan of that show. Megan, I'm going to be seeing that new horror film. It's coming out Friday, but I think my screener is on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for my Megan review for this month. Fingers crossed that we can get screeners for Last of Us. If not, I plan on covering it like an after show. So keep an eye out for that for this month. And there's a couple other things to keep an eye out for. So excited for the new month coming up tomorrow. Excited for the new year coming up tomorrow. And really, really excited for this channel for the new year too. So before we head out, man, let me go ahead and get to these comments, and then we're going to call it a day. And again, man, I hope y'all have a great New Year Eve and New Year Day, and just a fantastic year in general, man. I hope y'all have a killer year. Let's see. I like doing the Q&A with you on show. Yeah, like I said, more of those for sure. Maxine, what I only caught the beginning and end. Great work and growth. Oh, thank you. You've been part of the journey. I love seeing your comments on the shows that we love talking about. Really like the group you get together to do. Oh, thank you. I like them too, and hopefully we can get a lot of those great people back on the channel, and hopefully get some new people too. I love meeting new people and hearing people's opinions on our favorite movies and shows. So definitely more collabs 2023. Yeah, literally just talked about it. Yeah, I will be covering the 4th season for sure. I love Servant, so I covered the first 3 seasons, and I gotta finish the last one. Happy New Year. Thank you, and again, Len, thank you for the Cash App. Thank you. And then it's literally as I said that AW sent a Cash App saying Happy New Year. Appreciate the live. Happy New Year. Thank you, AW. Appreciate it, man. Again, you all are just so great. I can't thank y'all enough, man. Y'all don't know what y'all mean to me, man. Y'all mean the world for real. You too, bro. Happy New Year and everyone alive. Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone, man. Thanks, brother. Hope you have a great New Year. Yeah, you too. Be safe out there, everyone. If y'all going out tonight, Megan. Yeah, gotta get the Megan, man. I can't wait to see that movie on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is. Happy New Year, Tony. Happy New Year to you, man. Looking forward to discussing these shows and movies next year. Take care, brother. Thank you. Yes, I can't wait to talk about a lot of that new stuff. Again, anticipate the movies, anticipate shows coming out this week, so keep an eye out for that. Maxine, much love. Everyone stay safe. All the great emojis. Peace out. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Kenny. And then David, thank you. Thanks for all you do, E. Thank you, David. And on that note, you all have been great. Again, what a fantastic year for movies and shows. And what makes it even better is I get to talk to you all about those movies and shows. And I appreciate all the support Again, it goes a long way, man. Liking videos, sharing videos, commenting. That is huge, man. I love reading you all's comments. And then for those that do the great gifts like Nisi or super chats, it means the world, man. So 2022, great year, but 2023 is going to be even better, not for just myself, but for you all. You all be safe. You all be awesome. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. And we'll catch you all very soon tomorrow. Got some content dropping tomorrow. So I'll catch y'all then. Take care, everyone.